Well, good evening. Ani Akwaba, Jasu Jumediene. You are live on OK 101.7 FM. And your partner radio stations or mother or Momo Boy Emedi Jumedie Ebro. You're live. Our High Life Radio and your live. So Kings Jersey Radio, our New Jersey, your live. Our Migachu FM, our Kukrentumi, our live. So Naspa Radio, our UK. And your live. So our Adampa Media, our Belgium, France, Paris. It's a good evening. Akwaba so and come out this week, dear. Said the munim niema bebre esi but me sam makwa baby from a film lady. Now, particularly we'll be looking at this chaos, confusion. Any entokwa esi ewo Obuasi. This is a clash between minors. Any a friend saying for I'm safe for. More importantly, we'll look at are we living in a banana republic? A better security situation because idea way is been coming. Boboba kakaka ni atna wa na abe kese ye to abewie bia NDC ni MPP na ye guilty about this obia feel say winner takes all ni party aba into also okoye basa and we cannot allow this to continue. Into I have era Idris Musa Superior obia wache wo politics mo. He's been in politics. I've known for a long time as a former MC because security situation it is controlled from the district level dissect district security tax force no or more dissect ho and sana ye want Ressetting now sana about national security but this where said there's a pungent to be there's a desire for lawlessness okoka na party supporters we see a bit do at them it's really getting out of hand na ye go President Mahama Animasi President Bio Babet na konwa so a Ninkrofo ebeye basabasa no mu de enum guase na de bre president no and Ghana almost 40 years of multi-party democracy. We cannot continue like that. We also look at vetting the President Mahama team awafa omo for instance it was Ashanti region for starting soon say Mama Mahama 33% of vote which is one of the reasons why NDC winning overwhelmingly and yet you from Ashanti region, just say as you ignore Ashanti region cry. The region and President Mahama consider Ashanti region in the World Bank, but Ashanti region can only win it. I beg to disagree with the president. Say Ashanti region has become an NDC World Bank because 33% and bro the total 90% vote NDC in our voter region because of the population of Ashanti region. So Ashanti region cannot be ignored. But again, and also on the dynamics, because you can't expect the president to deny his core people and come back to a traditionally unknown non-World Bank, if there's a word like that, non-World Bank place no. There are dynamics and there are particular or typical characteristics of NDC and MPP. You will not find it in the other party. We must leave the president to do what he's doing. But then we can comment because we also look at ministerial positions here. They are microphone. And we can then a friend say Sami Jemfi. It's on me now. So Sami Jemfi. If there's anybody who should enjoy and who deserves a position in NDC, I said Sami Jemfi can. Juma Sami Jemfi can go. People campaign for a reason. Yeah, people have different objectives for campaigning. Which is that they want to build Omaino. Now, Africa had it. People campaign because of a position. It is something if you call a PMMC, Amunyano, or go there, Juma. And the person who was there, Sami Jemfi did Nadia Nanewia. Nanewia was also a lawyer. And he said, Sami Jemfi is a lawyer, no, unless you can argue that lawyers don't have any knowledge about gold, which can be plausible. Because lawyers in Tom gold. Lawyers in him gold, but perhaps the president wants him to go there and to say so that maybe they can regulate the gold industry. At the end will justify the means again. And then I didn't call you, we don't know, but the end, the where we are, whether Sami Jemfi deserves the position or the corner. But if anybody, it should be given a position in NDC. Obeying that when NDC was in opposition, Sami Jemfi was one of the loudest people, was one of the strategic people. Sami Jemfi not in position. You heard the other people. And he said, "Don't get Yaman position here. Is he qualified? Family and friends. Massa 2018, and I'm a catcher. family and friends, they be baby out. Me catch them from Rollins Abang. There were family and friends. In fact, Yera, Miami Cromony dancing near approach PV Obing. Na nana kuna do classmate or tech. Rollins here cool better now kunyaso na nana kuna do kofa ne brate way wa being from tech into Fanica wa buy on. And me catch them family and friends. So we are man bro soa. That's when there's a problem. And when I present in another kodu, you know, because they the boroso. Unia wom, we wom, uma wom. That is why people had a problem. And then when the economy started crumbling, people thought that there be unia unjustified in the position. Because even in terms of managing a national finance ministry, onye be that bank ye juma and on yet finance ministry. Because bank juma when you are the CEO, be aka say yes, I'll be aka say yes, amasa. But buying more juma, managing a whole governance. And where, especially in a third world country like Africa, where the impact of your financial decision reflects on the government, and yet they say, but then another including me, one of the things I even had a problem with and another about was Nema girls, creative arts council, also a creative person. You know, you have not been in public service before. Now, I thought that here and can another man wait me compared to my teddy, ya papa no nyo bia ya na yeko hoso ye na yeko pa adwuma ye and they build the experience. They should have done that. They didn't have any business. But you see, family and friends, they be baby and they say don't get ya ba no ko ye adwuma munya no. Opposition MPP before starting here in terms of bobo MPP NDC for them style baby. But you see, let's come back to the main issue. The main issue is the way Ghana kono and yet. And let me say this, Asana Mama Yera Musa Superior Abem name Penifone Abem, because see, Captain Smart as me abey for Obuasi hono he. We shouldn't just blame Captain Smart. Me no. Never be brave one have criticized him so many times say oko overboard. In fact, me Captain Smart almost me dey coach obi. Yaso ne ye stubborn. Yaso ne ye bom chen obi a. Ye me no ye omo mpanifo no hu se ejina baby bon komo pe na the alarm say me Captain Smart if you apokuya ye first say Songo countryman Songo na just a confusion base adwumanim. They stubborn people that and we understand each other. But you see, sometimes when you are going overboard, there was one person. But you see, there's a bigger issue. There's a bigger issue beyond the captain. You see, because we don't know, everybody is condemning. Me about Estinam, who is a former Sandra Estinam, former worker of TV3, wrote a very, very powerful piece about how I was here in Nigeria. Say, we must call a spade. Now, like what TV3 I and no mama at least for immediately, Cause look, about 15 people. Because you're not near can say 8 people now. It's apparently 15 people. We cannot continue like that. We cannot continue like that. And you see, media for no, your Juma back is to educate. It is a nima. Our job is to educate. It's where there's rule of law. Because one of the key tenets of democracy, multi-party democracy now, you'll be answering and democracy. America, UK, but the key, one of the key characteristics of multi-party democracy is rule of law. Rule of law, also there must be law, and institutions must work. Ghana said, AGF for cry environmentally unlawful, a breaching EPA regulation. You were a statutory public institution like EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. Ayama Omutumi said they are the ones who should regulate the environmental industry. Minerals Commission, so Minerals Commission, any EPA together have the power to regulate the industry. It is a wood journalist who did not air. Now, because what's for the cyanide or my cyanide hole? What is the regulation on cyanide hole? What is the regulation on disposal of mining waste? You should read that first. And Sanawaba said, EPA for because it's not the onus is not the mining company. The regulation ties EPA. EPA for an institution, your president or Tiakonyasu Sananado, on free jubilee house and go check AG. That's not Anado's work. Because Ejuma Ghana, except America. And then normally TikTok court. TikTok has all the way to America, Supreme Court. Once American government is arguing that this is a national security threat, TikTok lawyers also are arguing that it is a registered American company because a foreign company, Ghana, or a foreign company, Ghana, you must register your company in Ghana. Number under Ghana company law. The same thing across the US. And TikTok is registered in America as an American company. And the law says that even though America is one of their main fundamental constitutional freedom, it is said the Ghana Constitution, freedom of expression. America for their own First Amendment. But First Amendment shall also go overboard. America Constitution is one of the constitutions that freedom but almost regulation, even against free speech. Oh, say me can call for National Media Commission call a laws here the regulating media industry. I was one of the people who fought against the law. But me, I'm ashamed of myself. Right now, may National Media Commission for say, look, we should go change come back again and bring the laws. Come back again and bring the laws. But again, on the Captain Smart, you may say, any Captain Smart and Quantum so as a media industry in resetting. The entire media industry needs resetting. Now, as a media person, I'm ashamed of how the media has become. Yeah, we have contributed to it. Number two, people almost here to blame. And Captain Kwan. Yeah, because Captain Adeoyen, we enabled him. And that TV3 and Kwan Captain Smart started his idea with you. Waba Angel or Free Fox nearby. Fox, what happened? We were all around cheering him on. We were clapping for him to the extent that other radio station manager to make us say, yes, it's a captain, fire, it's a captain. Oh, Sammy Kwame say, you're too gentle on fire, it's a captain. The number two group of people almost number one group a media for no Yankasa, we have lost our way. Jumana good media landscape, your good media Jumano. We are here resetting ASAP. And that's why I'm apologizing to National Media Commission, George Saponini. We were part of the law to regulate the industry. And I said, there be Media Commission for is an affront to free expression. But free expression is so unlimited. Free speech is just a free speech has guidelines, regulations, has limits. You can't be limited free speech where media my part of again. First Amendment free speech by and yet free bond to sao. And yet blanket check. It is heavily regulated. Obscenity. Fighting words. There are words that you cannot use in America. Even swear words. America for use social media, traditional media, obi kasana or swear, no do be at F word, no my pay. Even in America, yeah, pay. Ghana want to say I pay that. No. Comfort to me, yeah. Obi told you no I use to F word. No, America is heavily regulated. Now, yeah, planke for America for constitution, yeah, the empire regulation. First and foremost, I'm apologizing to Media Commission. We need to bring that regulation back. And we'll see changes there, changes and bring it back. The media needs to be regulated. Social media crime in particular. And to what content be out generating America or Europe, if it is coming into Ghana, not say and fit it into Ghana regulation, let's block it. The way we are going, we say any captain is to be blamed though. TV3 is not to be blamed. We enabled it. And we have enabled it. Ghana for number two categories, the citizens of Ghana. Because we have reduced Ghana. We have made truth commercial. It is no credit asa. No credit asa. It is what our can asama already draw. Ubetientium, on already no credit. What over twisted facts? One when you okay. And we, the people, you're consuming media, no, we clap for people like that. We have enabled it. If you're not much no, media houses, even to the extent of, oh, yeah, say, fire to Sasumasi. There is no regard for no credit. And the people of Ghana, what to me, your program, no, be about, oh, 10 views to pay, oh, 100 views to pay. When did Ghana become when did we get to the point where truth is measured by the number of views we have? Or when say, yeah, this is where we get to. Say no credit. Now, determination of truth, determination of quality is measured by the number of views. Into call Joy FMO, City FMO, Peace FMO, the OK FMO, yet you views. And Kwasia Sebio Brumano Chesuna. So I just have to use that word for emphasis. And Kwasia someone, I am tro, and Ghana, Takrawo Jim, and the tension, Beba, and the chaos, Beba, no you have 1,100 and something views. And not Ghana for your pet. We are so the media. Every society, media and mirror the society in which it's Kalma to say no the philosophers, the philosopher. Or see, media biano. It's a society that media ni free mono. Because the a man from pa. Again, media starting at Tommy and enforcing only idea starting media no. Yan anano Beatrice Edumo, Richard Cotton, no more kind news or GBC no. Say that no money here. No. Not money to say. Any start to see editorial here, but the people want it. Okay, me say what they call YouTube na call any media house, Facebook. Obi obeka as assembly 3 views, 10 views, 1,000. You are better 7 no. Oh, 1 million views. This is where we have reduced our society. Into young captain, you be blaming as a society. Yeah, reset of the brain, reset of our taste. Media and one owning politicians are now owning TV stations and radio stations. Setting up a mammy which is a dunum, Richard Cotton owning a human, GBC or Yabai. And send a question to normally or more private one, a despite media, a private people. And maybe politicians are owning media house into their politician and our. We know media houses that are owned by politicians. Politician, even presenter cannot express a different opinion from owner. And it's all only MPP near was all more radio station in also. I can't so me MPP for. So only NDC near. I was so be radio station also cassette NDC. And we have seen previous occasions when media presenters have found themselves into government. You're part of the government, even when they were in opposition. And now NDC Mugabe money the massive, they will all go into positions in government. And the MPP by people in my FM, half of them they had positions in government, including Yamini Abema, Fifi Boafo. It's society in here reset to adjoining ye test. I don't know become as a semi Mobi can quasama 1 year correct. Mobi Mati Anazan fell her honey pay. No be alcohol. And if I base and I not no be up and can found. Yansa semi fagana your taxes on your road. You see some free SHS. Are we able to fund the vetting? Yeah, the GBC Nakohe. What's your live streaming of the vetting one? Nipa be 200 penny guso. Vetting no be peso beti. We are vetting ministers on Mabe managing public purse. Managing Ghana Sika. Managing whether accountability be a juma or not. Managing whether money be we are not interested. America for year vetting. Now no congressional hearing or more your Senate a Trump appointment. Me see even activists to me call no more demonstration while the vetting is going on. As soon as we am panel, a branch or a Zionist or just almost they are part of the process. They be make us a parliament before all parliament work on. There was a bill before parliament, spousal bill. It was supposed to check said yeah. I want for warrior. Yeah, check how many Ghanaians are away. They don't care because we don't have any law like that too. You need law be a chess said yeah, warrior for warrior. It is left to the discretion of the courts. Anti-parliamentary law, all parliamentary, amendment to a Muslim registration of Islamic marriages, Mohammedan marriages. How many gramophone in him? Muntaka was one of the key agents of that law. How many people they don't care? Impunity, Diana, and comfortable sport, ever score political points. And one kind bill, no, unkind. But they are politicians, they are not nobody actually. And the politics. So Ghana, we have lost it. It's not just a Captain Smart issue. The media needs reset. The people of Ghana need reset. Yeah, draining here reset. Our taste and preference need reset. Media owners no a Jumani or here reset. It will be no yeah Jumanasi or Kenya Samoa. It should not be about the number of views. The owners must get it. So when you say the panic can't say about Ghana. Manenka, I don't ever Ghana, and yeah, about say, what did you attempt views? Monko ye we na views mra. Because in Kayanwan is saying, if we have rule of law, ni any banana republica, there's no mining company, and for that matter, any other company. There's no company be of Beba Ghana only a license. Number one, you have to be registered in Ghana. Number two, Obuasi gold mine and kata evi and a go otu for them the kwa broche and then another no China for which I say company negu Obuasi krona kasa gu. There's nothing there because for over 100 years we had an animal bro time to gold no. The only source of economic livelihood Obuasi a gold no. Enti AGA abrofo no koye no aduma bibia ni ho utonto so kwa yento akutuo kra yento enti omomra no mbefa company na China for better ye asem propo anti gold nasa we have mined over 100 years. China for na bana they have a contract number one, they have concession agreement number two, they pay their taxes to Ghana government in Accra. And it's also business says you cannot Ghana government here development and your mining company no. There is no law that says the mining company need chiani taxes or chiani royalties or chiani mark traditional council or chiani on some development. Or mining company or corporate social responsibility policy, they can decide where 1 or 2 be account. Now, presenter say, Mama Chinko on your common demo. I was saying, when did you match there? Munji boom, that was his language. Munji boom, Namunko. No, what's it go for 8 years? We will chase you out of the house. Company na ya company chow otufo etieti ane chow mu edi na ni monyama kopa China for just some dia momre na mbaso company nim so that we have some kind of staff ye muntua salary mom boost local economy. You will change the company out of town for what? The company ne boom ready so EPA for and was a wale chomo ufre EPA what buso omo se company ni fa so or kwaya mining hole if indeed there's a cyanide hole. Is it following proper regulation? Say follow proper regulation. EPA for now also but to say that you will chase people out of town. Hey. And this is where we have come to. And comfort that you win the elections and comfort that you airport. And yes, we have gold. I came here to sit here to say that the Lord does not lie in your anus. The Lord does not lie in your hands. Because we have to say lawlessness. Me Ghana, you started to export gold. Now, who born dog? Rollins, I'm quoting President Rollins. Who born dog? Send President Rollins to Tiasia. Under President Rollins regime, you go to the airport. President Rollins No, we cannot encourage lawlessness. 15 people say, if it is confirmed, because according to a small scale mining association for an letter, I'm saying 9 people are dead. But Obuasi for 15 people. People, you go for Papa no, go for Branham. Where they come back no more didi, they are dead. So baby, they are dead and gone. We can't continue like that. This is not a Captain Smart issue. This is not a TV3 issue. This is a national disaster. It's a chaotic situation. This is a banana republic issue, and we are all guilty. We are guilty. Media need here reset. Here reset. Because when a bank crop first started so more young crop, perceived a bank crop for because it can be that other people have also joined on within Guasem. But it perceived that but the government must have the balls to stop the people. A free NEPO, we must all sign a treaty. We must all see a cantam vow. Near catcher who said free Enerico. We will make sure that party be obey we need power. Their supporters will not do that. And the supporters try to do it. I was a party for hierarchy immediately at once must stop them. They must stop them. Free SHS near my Soko de Chito SHS Soko de na Obiako no reacting tomatoes. Yeah, the man Colano free SHS and Colane and Oria the cop. Now one you are collapsing the nation because the same government that you are claiming you are for no. Government now better for no one send their tomato to replace what you have stolen. Emo na nkofo have gone to Songo. Salt. We are pumping machines on one of the salt edumano. Are we sick? Which advanced democracy? You will find said you nkofo bi adwene wo form they will come and insult you. No crack asan. Truth is no longer truth. Obi cannot cry and gather on him page and dinner time now shutting it down. Yeah, no, we are back cry bobo. You bet did what time they was say and did what time. This is how low we have sunk as a nation. And we have they are cooking for my 9 people dead. Or shed the way they were killed. Oh, crowd, oh, send and now maybe back the video nature no say if you close to me to be right. I mean, we are journalism. It's sad. Ya bo bitu man na na chia akosi na chi. Ne na 360 degrees 10. Ba ko ya bo ni shoulder ya bo na chi na be pie ni ha. Ha na tu. AK47 the bower baby bullet be pie na etu o de ho. I survive it. But say you kum ni party say nkoko. And you can't blame the military. They are trained to fire. They are trained to fire. They were stationed on the property to guard life and property. Were mining company. They have not gone to anybody's concession. Baby. A security zone. A mining concession. So for baby now. So if anybody has trespassed, it is you, the people. Musena, come there. Me do nyame. AG former come there. Yes, are you serious? AG former come there. Are you serious? AG former say omama come there. Me do nyame me so me yes we abema command you omo. Ani akokumu no. Oni pa no one concession or protect it. Law on the chair say obi our right to protect life and property with reasonable force. What the baby on account? And I feel fear now about it. So, when I'm more jump, yeah, the bad wire crack about more jump it. See, ya memma, ya bet Shramonia say, oh, ya bema chain soldier. And you're training to kill. Oh, ya bema chain soldier, you're training to be combat. You're training for combat work, boots on the ground, to aim and fire. It's a very unfortunate way to work. Me say having you or my could not having gate no cry. Who could not having gate no cry? Yakupon crab said, Chow Mark, and say, Sebi, way and quasi woo. Why now pay and now do tea, aquawasso. This is a death that shouldn't have happened. Obia Sumanso could, oh, abundant so. Nako you woo. Not a conformer and memma can tinker. John Dumelo Namho, ye farming. I respect that gentleman, and he will go places. Oh yeah, queer. What the motto say? Obi concession say AG for the Oka. The ones in charge of development. AG for also on development Obuasi. They are paying all the taxes to Ghana government. Ninjine go buying consolidated account. Busawa buying from MC to regional minister to AFS to national minister from banks. So Odisicana Edema another year then. The one that owes you a duty no air abine. Let your company no. Then the whole presenter say, "Me do nyame be chase AGA." Who chase you to where? You know when the baby or did sika on the baby na mo amokopa ne to so mra. E no buy. Inti I told you we are the young Ghana for we are guilty. Yeah no man lawlessness ababuno. We na lawlessness ababuno. Inti kwaforo mo no their blood is on our hands. Omomoja eguya ye tiriso ni apampa so. Yen ene yaye. It is on our hands. It's my main call here, Musa Superior, former AFS MC, and in Pennyphone, because we need to stop this. We need to stop this. Pa yen to mean Koso and yes, and much I said, Oma Vomash buses, AGF for buses, Omuka be an ashen, and they are burned down buses upon buses. AGF for Omash shinning in a na company soldier for Jina, oh, could the two attack soldier. Na so jani jina no de ni tuo na bewe o se TV ana wo di tuo o ko attack soldier nti soldier ni jina ho no hwe. They are there to protect life and property. So once they feel that their life is threatened, immediately now the soldiers will respond. Immediately the soldiers will respond, and that's exactly what happened. Where investigation, presidency and investigation is a call in the right direction, but the investigation will never bring you back to life. Investigation, then cry investigation, back to life. You will not come back to life. There is no amount of investigation that will bring you back to life. You are gone. You are gone. No, I don't even know how to say it. How just say I don't know my me penas and back with yourself then no can ask him say Ghana for no one that said no yeah IQ level. You see yeah IQ test. You see Ghana for the whole world you're talking number 80 IQ of form. Yeah IQ of form. So gullible said there were young people who were believing this. This is wrong. Why? Yeah, you were for diplomatic passport. Foolish people have believed it. Hey, are we serious? That's why they need no change diplomatic passport. They don't need any diplomatic passport. And so you have gullible people with low IQ who believed it. No more did it after their time. They didn't verify nothing. Just verify or say I'm not ready. Me koka mini abema Kofi Adoma opra ye hu asem me am in the family akasa me ne yira kasa. She said if you are posty this is the o say ombe ye o sa fe ni re be kasa fe and enti mo amoye if you just say Kofi is a brother to me. I've known him over 20 years. If you are I'm not posting about Kofi because me a journalist. I'm posting about Kofi because he is my brother. But low IQ, you don't verify anything. You pentro. Asem si on to no. That's what will be so be camera. Mami di DF. He wouldn't even find out. Only family nigga. I am close to the family. Oh, asem Ghana. Asem. But me mean so me few. What na so ana wa didi atema na obra na me. There is nobody who be di matema me respond. Wa obra ubejai. Wa didi atema na obra ubejai. Na what na obehu mistake awaye. Now Yakum nkofoma memma ne maba yakum omo na meka no osofo dey say waka dem no ana no frɛ Kofi Adoma yire no say na mai na we dey wa mama kadem o na entumi wa frɛ dey am waka dem. You didn't verify. You are not Kofi's sister. Me, I am a sister to Govt. I'm worried about my brother. Me cry na me who say bloggers atro. Yes me ti asem na ma beka bloggers na atro. Na me hu yi. And I mean, friend, most of them are people are trained. These are boys, I train them. As a sister, me team who say bloggers not trans. Hey, na me am shame. Cause me many do my operation. So I know said you any operation here. Then I call this wife Dubai. I say next year call here. Now these people cry shut down fray they have not even showed consent to the pussy. More be who say but he's stable. Me am shame. Osofo who has no stake. Who has no stake in the matter? You have not worked with Kofi like I have worked intimately with Kofi for over 20 years as a brother and a sister. Yatsana demu akumo. My embedi natem. Now when you attend and if you are not barry, me personally cause quiet, da ben am koye barry. And I need to get in the dabena me manage to me fear na me kwana manage to so. Well, but you see, it shows you how low IQ, low IQ. We are so gullible. So gullible. Assemble young tree above Musem. Because also what Kofi. Now your Kofi come on the be confide in you. No. He doesn't trust you, he doesn't know you. Ni ba no be kasa trend. Say na to me. You don't even know. The guy was even in surgery. Operation 2. We are praying so Nyankopon and restore you know. Na what be the atem? Is en quite ye be. Ye bim lady be. And ye jano na trend. How? Onyame nipa anka wo ye pempai boni ngosra wo ne yeba. You see? Ba me so wa obra na wajai. So Ghana, we need to save Ghana. We cannot continue like that. And it's not just Captain Smart TV3 asem. Ye hear reset. Yeah, Junemi hear reset. No cry is not about number of views. No cry is not about mama kwa babio just you may no send no message and now link na fa link no now to joining and also chile wadwin. Ghana we need to save Ghana. We need to save Ghana. And then yet just here did attempt. We need to save Ghana. Brother say you save Ghana. Your brother say you save Ghana. Good President Mahama because what we are doing, we are disgracing President Mahama. I'm offering us as a banana republic. A banana republic in almost 40 years of practicing multi-party democracy. But we said you go so Obikuta yeah, President Mahama, one of his he said Obe creative jobs. Now why never be able to create if we are doing this to a mining company? Companies are here present mama be kwakọ for mom be battle be create jobs. Nobody will come. They say company be a be kwakọ for my baby. Oh ma. Because said this is what we do to foreign companies. Ghana, you bet me also with guns. Into which company will come? No company will come. No company will come. Good evening, Biom. And then Ramusa Superior, you know, but we will talk to him very soon. And then Kasana, how on my Ghana, and you bet to me a GSC. No, mine. Yen na yen me say yen na yen reset. Yen na yen reset. Wow, baby, di atem ya what so? What dreams are? Don't say anything. What dreams are? When we are doing issues about national video, but it's not about insulting anybody. Baby, I gonna do no. A brass to see a jigga de see. A brass to see a jigga de see. It's not about insulting. Yeah, in Ghana, because what kind of Ghana are we living to Manti and Maba one way? What kind of Ghana? What kind of Ghana? Any age? You can't send for man will be an Abranti for Jimmy. Abranti, I will be woman. I bet you school fees. Who to me, you can national development. I would be at them. Just what do you know of form? I drain our form. I drain our form. It's sad though. It's sad. We need to save this Ghana. Yes, I Ghana and a ship a good. Me say there were all the question Nicaragua among those countries. Almost started say almost your nationalization near there. A lot of foreign companies stop going there. Yes, started say attacking companies and nobody will come to us. Nobody will come to Ghana to yesterday I see a companies. Companies they move we able no emra. Nobody will come to Ghana again. We are attacking companies because wabayamba. For DJ machines, wabayamba. Hey, how long can we do that? Ghana no. The doctor they come MPP penifoni be dog mama good evening ni akwaba. Doc where do microphone?
Good evening, Vim lady. Good evening.
But you say who you there?
Nyamiado, now sir.
Good. Adumia.
The chair, Mr. Akaso.
You, Mr. Akaso, who you?
Me Josu. It is a Principapa. Ye kasa
yache. But you think come with the as never my trading pom. There's never more trading pom so adumia. Here Musa Superior line article, but doc, fan chat through so that vetting, but generally about the security situation here, the Obuasi, the men and we are dancing for. If you are dancing, I ask it, any chance, any meduma, any amansia, yourself, yourself, you collaborate. But it's sad to see Obuasi being turned into like almost like a war zone. But the actual general security situation, no. What do you think? The president are calling for immediate investigation. Do you think beyond that, something more should be done?
Vim lady, Metro Bimna, actually, co-panelist. Now, the Chakese, so I'm a Ghana for any Obibia and so Wajani or platform. So obviously, a very condemnable. You share near Koswa. But Sebi, Obroni say there's no smoke without fire. Enti asana obi hu enwu se no na anye hwekra na eja kakra bi wase starting from the day of elections and the state of anarchy any insecurity started na ekoso ama yehu ye even during collation video evidence yehu ye certain returning officers party be achita for Air Force woman among false declarations to declare certain people as winners of the elections. Nasebi, so say they are rather doing well for their political party. A ho and a start here. A ho and a sebi yam pe ano edro into escalate here from one government institution to the other. Now, ye take certain institutions hostage. Now, sebi staff into me po any opportunity any juma. Now, a buy SSR. It doesn't mean say every staff our government institution be also a political appointee. Say empo or bar within a certain political regime, or your staff, or your civil servant, or a public servant, or your staff or whichever agency and an institution. But then it started from agency to agency, MMDCs, everywhere. Now, ya nya opani biya sebi, ankase enough is enough. Ya nya opani biya mana ankase adi ya tuwewi. Na even in our celebrations, no, our celebrations, rather a be violent upon violent activities, and to mark the victory of the NDC. And na sebi and crofobinum edomanu tumu there be a sa ye try sebi MYN. Until yen try to calm members down, supporters, let's tell them, say at least ya win abanu kompono ambo adie panche. And now your major opponent, I can say ma concede defeat. So there was no need for any tension in town. But you are forcing returning officers, a moment declaring for as winners of certain elections as parliamentarians. Emma Semno Kwa could do Supreme Court, back to High Court. Emma and Nema Yokomu before some people were even declared very, very unnecessary, just to use my words advisedly. Up to now, your constituency were sebi.
You declare results.
Declare results simply because of certain activities characterize elections.
And you are saying that parties in the
the state of insecurity and anarchy, no, that is where it started.
But saying you're most you're guilty because you can't. And this is what I want to say. 2016
oh, Navim lady.
2016.
8 years down the line, Vim lady. 8 years down the line. 8 years down the line, we are blaming whatever has happened today on what might have transpired.
But you must also acknowledge this time you're guilty.
If it happened under the MPP, now it was wronger. It is wrong.
Okay.
If it happened under the MPP, now you're condemnable.
ABC or MPP, so don't give it another time across. It happened.
It was wrong. It was wrong.
But did you people admit and condemn that it was wrong?
There is no well-meaning MPP person say be wronger or be bad can say it is right.
Okay.
But as some ba yankasa asemo de emba, even onipa who foul state of health, there's no way be can say sebi. We are no emma ever in your life. Into Uber, even in medicine, there were forms of prevention. See your primary prevention. Say primary prevention, they say, Yemfa near mango akoimu such that yare ma. Say yare no po unity. No what secondary prevention. What is secondary prevention? I say yare na unity no. Yen so ano so that emeye kesiye. Na say beye kesiye we so your tertiary prevention. I say your last stages, you know. Yen at least yen share so na kakra till say yare no be go through the entire course. Na na ebesi asi so obenya sebi we so remission so no one remission. And you can say you can totally avoid some of these things, even though unnecessary. No, you can say you can totally avoid them, but then you take steps to curtail them.
Okay. And in the case of Obuasi, what do you think should be done? Say secondary prevention, because they say it has Captain Kai and say if it has any connection, say no, they share Boasi phone crying. So is wrong. I think from all the media groups I've seen, everybody is saying that no. And I think that's the reason why TV3 for Amman. So that's kudos to the station for at least taking some proactive. But people are dying. I want to hear serious no. What should we do?
So at the end of the day, it has happened. Unfortunately, out of so moving forward. Well, indeed, the security agencies have to come in, do their investigations, let us know what went wrong. If certain people are culpable, punish them to serve as deterrent to others. But the most important thing is education, especially invading certain private property. Everyone has the right to self-defense. Now, I can even act out of fear. Not necessarily because sebi bibi, but the way I bought so no, it can even cause me to think that you want to harm me, so I defend myself. But a starting was state agencies, no. And then I saw no enka enko drew Anglo good. Enka enko drew Anglo good. So we need to educate people. We need to educate people. Every year, every cycle of elections, we educate people. But the party needs to, both parties, especially leading parties, no, need to take the campaign to their members. Because the NCC ebe educational. Sebi. Obia otini baby no. Party allegiance. Se opanibi ananudru jem ebe ma sebi advisor. Party members at the grassroots tend to listen to their party leadership more than these people. And to say party leadership, and no more kasa you drew dream or parties nimuno. Edo manu tum. I can say so be koye bonia. Yen to me enko dinichi. Into yesremo, let's conduct ourselves. We all have the right to protect the ballots. We all have the right to protect our elections. We all have the right to protect our victories. But the excesses should be curtailed.
Okay.
That is where it should start from.
Okay.
Education being led by the major parties to their members at every level.
Okay. So you're going to Obuasi. I can remember also. What do you think about Obuasi? But I know why you're coming on this table because you keep baby and a problem, huh?
Obuasi damiti na kra me friend madam
Fubi because he's checking too much, huh?
Oh, and na kra me friend madam Fubi o free Obuasi every say me mama free o me mama free boss you sang. Iti me fro bi o hono no su church me mu say e yon ma ko attack no fort if you say police ni soldier ni kutatio no ko ni wa
on your phone is table my also the first year
self-defense. Iti omo kun asabia ya ba ukosa self-defense. Mi kutatio na odi tioba. Me kun first. Also a trained professional. Iti uya sa onmu na ye nya dia ye sanka onmu ye. Iti say security na onmu ye ne tight. Anya say emergency. Untumi ni police for na soldier for nkoko. Soldier for to no eke na bo wa e too hot isam na binu. Iti un survival. And mi kan we kakra so media we na alkano. Me who said, best 6 months ago, Kumasi FMB or baby but transfer, name Yamasama or Canon, me who say I allowed that to Ghana. Send you in America, have ground to you. If you know, not guy be a friend of ours 10, no more count on the show soon, or can be $100,000 back home. And almost the block nearby, ain't you know, Uber Ghana will be to me the Obuasi, Yano or radio, so now I say TV station, radio station, Omuti Hoshe. I suffer no, as somebody on who Jim every say. Yebeka say radio for no na power, listeners no na power. Me and I die ho. Radio ni TV sika bia ni sika wom ni advert. Edro na nkrofo ton, me ton edro wa ha me ton car ties. Commercial na omo ye na no na di sika ba. Sika ya ye kasa ya ye kasa. Emfa sika ma ba niema commercial wo beton wade no so no na di sika ba. Iti omo ton ade no wo that responsibility ni say nyama asema dosun Ghana. Inyama bi o ha oni ubati ha untumi ntie o radio so kwasi don kon mo ho no se na ntisa yesi ani bie na ani eni e makrama ya chena afia oba ne wo kwasi afam bi o si be ma na de no wa o kan ro media me kata so usoma e bi o ha achi ase ne odi wa no be ya no enam se awia anaju kran yesi ya sa de no radio so wenya ni bie on ma di democracy by kra limitation wo untumi inyama bi o ha untumi nka. If you can be America, how about say, my block no, and almost delayed. Some used to delay to Ghana. It is a me young mamia, Mamu studio, no move at my ATN about 5 seconds delay. It is some you, Mr. Uma me say no. Who are we only professor move at my ATN. And they are by a bit near Yenina, Afcoin, Mammy, Afcoin, January number Ghana last year. Make a car say 1 week, you be here for every course, you be free, near pam Chris Hooting, near Kofa for Fraba, near young qualify Afcon, wake up young call. Unu ya me. Ya hear me as a patriotic, Nana do nebi fan. If we say I'm panucre, Ghana form panucre, and 2 panucre, they be out to that them. One would that man for a young crow for mammy, I know I popular. What about canucre, and yes, I need test. Oh, in your patriotic, what about trans Ghana Nimbobo, no Nimbobo. In Ukraine,
what's the difference between no crano or cancer, yempe no cray, yes, yempe no cray. But if you most of us and no crano atom, did you know some kind of pain was in the pain? What's the atom? Because they said the answer. On material radio, no, but a one on more pay. Online views in the idea, baby, I attempt, baby, I kind of pain the okay, Daman, I don't have for pay. Who got TikTok and no views, so I can see it. And no be to me, but TikTok, no, I run on a penny. Just all by the Siana, no, you never go so it's serious. But until Captain, it's not in isolation. Obuasi captain, so also my catcher say it's justified, just say, no person or team company, no person can be no man for who's all fighting for the people. Why do we draw the line?
A honeymoon could in about Sika media about Sikan Crawford PT and a Sikaniba. Intina mistake power no ni owners ni somebody on my yesono. Do your sono their own Mr. Chumasini despite normal Pesicano iti cancel no na Crawford na commercial population in the addition. But on my tiff you know na what power no quas to say your co school no. Form for your master be crab tray send your only obada or be or go now ube and no cry see headmaster to obey inedi. Where 86 as I'm namikayo. Or classroom na ya was teenagers or tray send your only obabe da crani and TV dane ya ye dini channel. Well, and that there obia to me can be a free say. On media ni pesikanti they don't care. Inti on my 8 no asofo no mukwa sorry a mun country say peace FM yes saying. Yep, sorry 11. You copy self from anymore. I had no say can be against your man na bibi. I never seen nipa be 2000 anymore. Obi or your commercial no be catch us say me utai no me metobium. So ton cantamant idea or cantamant no aduma from your commercial. Me catch us me ma o home meta debut. Omba fro phone so into who lose to customers into over radio station is a munyan se huno. Na madia na yan tobium wahu e ho na sika ni free ba iti na make us tiefo no na wo power enye Mr. Chumasi ni muni we omo de kudi ni ba na yan de munyi yan krofo na sika mra iti wa otifie tie no asante hin se na odi ho agim awia na obi abetra TV so se be ma na de wa se ne obefe ho enwum bi wo ho kra ye bo a oni wo batika ma se
doc me ba ho ba mi saka o kan asante hin ni other people media institutions or national media commission for almost a constitution, they have the mandate to regulate. And now,
wow, Casa, wow, vote against no. If you say limitation will be it you know, mono sikana mupa new ubaya popular, obi okra, yes, sports. Games to crown shape your free games on show busan BBI so nim the oka or better young crofon oka. Journalism, I come on say Crawford table when I practice journalism. Wow, it listeners no na betumi di on hwaji matiefo no society no say science hu anyama asem ni sane be ma na de wa oni oba beda e wo radios ni yempa biomiti sa yentie it is listeners no intie no on ma ton ade no so yi on sika se miton edro na mintia sika ma commercial advert ni bioma omu sika ne so tia omu beka se kwase asem ni ntwa sa na tia o radio baby a sika ni free ba no kada sources no.
Okay. Doc, no me ma when I'm musa the only abe my no say the blame no nkoma omanfo na etie no. Na so omanfo tie eja tie the incitement go to no use to sabro for say yeah media for no bi no share nkofo mu takra with them say in the example of Captain Smarty they am saying that you no kwa no guilty. There are several examples. Yeah media for bebre politics here okay media for bebre were in the middle of it. Stop here. Yeah. So where do we draw the line? He is saying, say, Oman for the Jai and Semunity, media for will be forced to stop in America. But it looks like right now, Oman for also enjoy it. That's what they want. It's better than stop you any to me some sanity or mind him.
At every level, I will say taking responsibility as a state, as a citizen, as media people, as media supervisors and regulators. I will say taking responsibility. Nia otieno our responsibility to stop listening to enemebia sebi entwaye. There are a lot of people who will not watch certain shows. There are a lot of people who will not listen to certain programs. It's up to omo principles. But generally across the world, yen nyina nim say sensationalism SL. And that is what the media is feeding on.
Exactly.
The sensational creates na emma asemono nyehu. Then it will pull traffic to your media house. Enti ye timamufo no. Ena ye mayasum ye de bebrebe ne ye niso ye fe bebrebe a sebi ye be encourage enema we. Enti obi a wo part to play. The listenership has a part to play. Say ye na sebi obi antia, you will stop. The same way the media person is what all yes are. At least there are code and ethics. A guided more adjumain. And anyone that has gone through the training at every level of training, definitely code and ethics. Minim how sebi the media space works. But over other professional, there are career development seminars. At least after passing out and you are working, you need to do score points before your license can be renewed to practice the following year.
Prof, doc way. Media number one, media there you don't need a license to operate.
Okay.
Like Modi say, we a doctor. It was all short exams, license exams, my boy.
Yes.
Any exams secretary. Yeah, law students complaining that fail. Doctors say they want to be fail. Nipa 75% they fail. And easy na doctors no pediatrician sa o test no. Uko country be aso a obetro.
Yes.
Law every year they to be renewed. Unfortunately, media every teachers did Montreal license exams go on the politics. Abroche, this is exactly what happened in Abroche. Ghana for Mutu Kwankwa, America and UK, equatro exams, especially in US, license exams, CNA, Brown to be transferred on RN. Indeed, Nipan not a registered nurse or the VIM. And not the name because we be to be 5 times, 6 times, that's our passing. Media, then you don't need. In fact,
so
there are a lot of media people. Doc.
There's no regulations in terms of professional ethics.
In fact, you don't even need to be a trained journalist to be on radio. A lot of young crop will be a world radio, so no. Baby, I'm sorry, there are more translators. I saw for the preacher on the class here. No, I'm a transmogrify into radio. I'm telling you, Doc. Now, I know one year back, but when they are okay now, continuous training bank and yeah, they mouth. So that you can understand the ethics. So this is the code that regulates the ethics. Now, when you start training, they are membership and alliances amount. There's nothing like that. At
that level, then the National Media Commission should be up and doing. But the unfortunate thing is that anytime the National Media Commission wants to crack the whip, they are politicizing. Because one can't arm a certain political party, then that political party jumps in to say that, or the bidding of an opponent. But and on a ma sebi a bimo the loophole in the system because a vim lady a kama me party. The natural tendency is that my party would always want to support vim lady. Into say vim lady sebi a committee no hona or ye adebia from so one. Then when the media commission wants to crack the whip, then it becomes MPP NDC fight. Into now ma sebi omo jina ntemo na omo ena sebi eye culpable no na omo fa omo hoedi. That is the loophole that enkofobi ahu within the system enti e was omo yesa no. But of course, the National Media Commission should be able to work such that say eba vim lady eba me na they are cracking the whipper. Precedents and examples on best setting will tell everyone that they are not favoring any political polarization. And to be our responsibility. Likewise, managers, editors, and owners of media houses. And see, at the level of the state institutions should work. At the level of the owners and managers and editors and producers of certain shows, they have responsibility. Mako show bakwa, sebi, example. Obi adikan be kasa. Atutu bomba gumwa. Na me kotina hona. I made my submissions and left. Later, I was called. Say, microphone si de nka buy no. Na was think I will reply. Guy na odi kan be kasa no.
You say the beer was a batty head.
Reply no. And I say, why should I reply the person? Senka okandi bia sebi enye nokre anase okandi a ebia enye we ya. But you could tell it was a clear political fight now. Oni obi engage to man home, then the person was also called in and the person also shared his view and counter attacked and all that. But of course, if I had gone in and also replied the person supposedly sensationalism na sebi ebe generating any sebi views are able on social media will drive traffic to such way. And I told the people that called me, said, no, I will never do that. I wasn't there to respond to certain people's comments. But so what can sembi na minena nya adwena metumi atenetene dia. I have the right to step in, defend my party, defend my leadership, and defend maybe I'm a flag bearer and set the record straight. But personal fight, I will not be engaging. The person was also called to come and also give the version. Now, say, let me respond.
It's even at the party level. Now, do say party support. I think better opponent.
It happens.
Nobody.
That is why. That is you can tell from the political terrain.
I know.
How do people gain notoriety?
Yeah, exactly.
These days. So everyone has a part to play. Everyone has a part to play.
Okay.
The listenership.
But when should they start from? My mom is because I want to read. But all the member video we answer because they said, as you rightly said, it must start from National Media Commission. We must all support National Media Commission. Say, baby, or man, you're best sure, man. Because okay, even at the party level, you do baby. The obedient attempt fans or party. And I followed politics and covered politics too long to know the okay saying run out is so true. Between NDC and MPP, me say NDC national organizer friends said they are in position as a local government.
Pablo, youth
organizer. Me say at a point NDC gonna Pablo there. So I want to be metna embedded the attempt. But a lot of party people at the Pablo do also the DPP for an attempt. This is how low we have sunk as a nation. So when the dink of what or party mo crowd popular. Your position cry. Yeah, no, as we were one party because we did you opponent at them. It's sad though. Baby, I hear kono. It's that's what I'm saying. That the issue is even bigger than Captain Smart issue, no. But in this case, the man here who needs people have died. My member video no. Oh, my member.
What you say? Yanim Krono, eti company no. There was so many ways you be able to company him. Ha, go for way. Eje, you don't yanko some ma comedy e be ma command mo. Say eje ma comedy e yes you be ma command mo. In so many ways, yanim so many ways be ma command eje. Ada oko important ni amani free a on fa me fa boase ana. What the name no oko free a habo on fa me fa boase. Obuasi highway e 2 per. We can block AGA within any second. So therefore now Kubi. Still you Kubi. Still you unless
and this is so sad for him to even say this. Say Obuasi highway near 2 you block it. That's lawlessness. Because only right obi here crowd you don't have any open permit or assembly to even block a road. Or see block it. AGA former come there and Bema command AGA fund don't catch Bema wedi. They don't owe you food. What buying they don't cut to give you food? Not AGA, our private company. And the objective is to make it profit. But this is how low we are sunk. To the point that they were able to take over talk to the young company. So see a block company no. Mama come there. Meanwhile, concessions so company being what one my man concession keke. Yeah, said a Minerals Commission for your calculation, measurement, as I'm concession here. It's how is it how through baby? Person who did you will be concession. How did we get to this point? And boldly look at our queen by your shabe. How did this become okay? Doc, just a quick one, let me come Mr.
So once again, it's unfortunate in AC. But everyone has a part to play. Will be our responsibility, starting with state regulators. Omwa yedi to me any sika ebom hubra to enforce the law, to be rigid on the law, and make sure that the right things are being done. Yenso timamufon sono. You were part to play. And ye bibia na sebi e was ye follow. And ye bibia na be sensational. Na was sebi ye could di a tree na yen yodum no. Panifo sebi. Ye praise udu afro no na wachacha mu ana sebi and also come for we. Your responsibility. This is the only country we have. And then I monitored the American situation right from Anapam, sorry, my stress till the point that Sebi.
And you know what's inauguration of Donald Trump.
Was so
beautiful.
It was so beautiful. Trump, the time, our corner, one called Biden inauguration. But this time around, Biden called him, said, come, let's have coffee, let's have tea together. Then we both ride to Capitol to go and have the inauguration. And it was done. Former presidents and their spouses, those who could come, they all came. And it was done beautifully. And if you look at the body language and everything today, it was all about America. It was all about America. Say we na Trump kasa na sebi okobo hostages are sebi ya release them from Gaza. Hamas ya release them. Na Biden sorry. Harris so sorry. Now all born in same because ya can't adhere a border on America.
Yeah, American interest, yes.
Yeah, American interest. Ya can't adhere is about Americans who were taking hostage. Into president ne boss, even though one acknowledge Biden there no or say or no a day before the swearing in no and or choky that success. But even with that, no, I don't think Biden took it personal. Or boss who were now they all got up and clapped because ya can't adhere. It borders on America and Americans. If we start looking at our politics as nationalistic, all these things will not happen.
Yo. President Mahama immediately no investigation in Obuasi issue, no. But it's just Obuasi, who other ones near there. In the long term, no, do you think I don't quite enough or there must be more that should be done?
Yes, sir, almost 30. We said the Abano by somebody, we free say somebody soldier for because we said police for no Obuasi, Madame for not here, was in the police for Obuasi, one is true, on my Gigi bribe will be strong. And will be all cry, maybe I need your girlfriend, it almost your she, there's some the outside troops in the corner. A best of what then. If it's also called block kind, and the service you see Quasiani who know, or no, Gina Hoya who bonitabi, who was a Kobe. On my about block or bad dodgy, who was so fear diffufu. Na Quasiani sabi Quasiani who not draw, no ako. Well, Sana on my mouth, and I didn't do on Bayer. It is a Mraya Jma way name, I will beat me Casase, minimum fear, my baby coon in a for. Oh, my banner, you need DNA. So when the military government tank yo, democracy when the diaba, wouldn't be few over cocoon. America says, yeah,
a young gun of one also in a dog, we have a party plus. Yes, we never fired there. Obi threatening Obisa near, but me can say 2020 elections. Me almost say, me may change electoral results. I mean, electoral commission, yeah, me come meant to me and call out. 2020 election in a TV so yes, we change way the Ama way, and I'll do the Ama way to 2 weeks. And people were applauding, people were resending the message, republishing the message. Almost born some and then other people, your babu way said, okay, your babu now conform, no, Muni na term nebi shenka. Where and you do
There be a Mran say Yajma, who say Mran Yajma institutions in Yajma will be out to me at the open. La and then Sanam Madame Fubi can't as some say, Ukoria body won't crass ya, Ukoya crass ya, sing hoya. Obia Korea banching of your money 10 years, banching 10 years, but Obia DC and BC called down now 5 years yet, Nishi. Into running Yajma, I said, wouldn't say I brought from the sun at the revolution by. Here for an Sika for high class or Munkoje or Sophia and Bakumo be or Legoin, Mibusa will be or see a man 6 months or Roman rate. 6 months. Obia say one no sounds were high working Calamia no Roman radio or software Mwakun Ibana. Yama crazy 6 months. If we are open say way, I know be our Korea banching upon 1 man 15 years. Well, I know when accident too. What now different from say the car combo be by accident where there negligence part say a petition and so what high no be near 6 months 6 months de munyane e bia be ni papa ko hu judges inti passing corner 6 months corner bra obakro obey worse than that. Next time obachi to akobi say anya 6 months near be mami. Iti mrana enya duma ne this side equality before the law no any Ghana. Whom you know or Ghana. Oh, me of any Kufuor, me of a big classmate ni President Kufuor. Oba suma menen crank asada. Meaning President Kufuor near Tishiasu, only me of an cop prempe all the way, only me, but my friend Crada. Oba New York, me kohobi ba me man konin and kakasa.
Well, and I just say, yes, deterrent as a society, but we must go beyond just saying, say beyond the president here, and BB or was a president, because I see any investigation there, but you
or try the investigation on Beba. The Beba and say Omuko attack. If you send a police for no soldier for no mining center, it is the Beba and say a self-defense. Sign investigation and when you Beba self-defense there, Kwasiane will case closed. Ghana you see foolish case. If you say one or call her, baby I cry was so be fear no chini to Kua. A free American almost stand your ground. So Oba mi fear na mi chini to na mi Kua over them mi fear. Wow. It is when I self-defense. The official when the president here and by Nkosishi. And ya dia soldier for Nbeko jail. Mimi kutatu na udi tu ba. Matumi their first.
Wow. Dog, would you say where Nkosishi? I have normal formality. Said yeah, you tell him. I same as your young investigation. Said Mr.
The bit of disappointment I want to say, Sebi, and then I started and right from the level of the president, now they were all looking on. Because they started the of state institutions and offices and the mayhem and inconveniences are visited on ordinary innocent Ghanaian. The president, with all due respect, was looking on. The Attorney General, Oko Sebi vetting, Yebisano about all the violence are spread across the country now. Sebi. We all respect Dr. Yini, but was one aware of any violence going on? Literally.
Party for now, I'm storming institutions.
He was not aware. He was not aware. I stand to be corrected.
Maybe you know a party say officially no on him, but on they were
oh, so you are in which capacity would you be reported to officially? Because you've not assumed the office.
Okay.
And no one will report to you officially. But we all knew what was happening. And we missed the opportunity. It's a missed opportunity. But what do you expect the president to come and say? He needs to be seen to be doing something. And to, of course, release a communique. See, that's the only thing he can say. That's the only thing the president can say.
It is not president to do me. Could the president not go there?
I don't know his schedule and his handlers and what advice he's receiving. And I don't know if it's right or wrong for him to go. But I'm talking about the missed opportunities we had to have kept this situation, which is very preventable, but something escalated and led to something. People took cues and examples from others, and perhaps all these things happened. I don't know the root cause, but if you need equal security within and after the elections now, I believe this thing would have totally been kept. But of course, what do you expect him to do? You can only release the communique and to be seen to be doing something. But let's wait. Now you're trying investigations and what will come after. But of course, there are so many examples in this country for my senior brother to say, Sebi, could do baby.
And you know, I mean, I have also seen your investigation. Your investigation, you are not done it through. At the end of the day, the most important is and conform papa no ma omo no didi ma omo ma eco school. Because they say and now Monday. School fees you could asem. School fees.
That's why we keep telling people, do not follow anyone to go and do adia onye. Do not follow anyone to go and do adia onye. Sebi, oh yeah, now what you even if it's not about you, there are people who depend on you. You have family, which in your absence, and in your absence, the trauma, the emotional trauma, psychological trauma a sebi ode abusua be femu no na enu nti sebi what to hofo yeah you fra sebi ntomago de ye ni agro
Enim pipragro. Oh,
nim pipragro e obedwem nti obi bia has a role to play. Like I said, we see families know well, and it's unfortunate, but enkopon enka omo in what they are going through.
But let me ask you this one: do you think the soldiers could have handled it any different from Mr. Kadio say self-defense? Because concession, so they have a right to self-defense. But do you think that the soldiers could have handled it any other way?
From the police, from the military statement now, almost say the attack came on them first.
Okay.
They were started
first. Okay.
The people started firing. They were having pump action, certain ammunition that were locally manufactured. And they almost egu soldiers so. And the soldiers also defended themselves by returning fire. But of course, amongst the two, one is more intelligent in terms of handling weapon. And see, there are ways to handle myself. It drew crossfire, beer, I can secure myself. But Ubia only that knowledge, would not have that opportunity. It sure say hope and they buy. But if the military statement is anything to go by, then of course it's self-defense. But as to what happened on the ground, the actual picture on the ground, we don't know. At this point, we can only take what the military has said to be communicate now the buy. But of course, everything is pending investigation. For us to know the
but I mean, when before they be Obuasi, this is what they were saying.
Myself and then me come out you want to pay 3 a.m. midnight. And you won't get it to this matter. No one is above the law. Please. Nobody is above the law. Please, I beg you. We admit that they didn't do well. We admit. So I had one more dear. We admit and you'll be concession. But not to kill the person. Straight bullet to the head. I don't know. I don't know.
That was the question that Doc Nami Busa say. They shot them straight in the head. But that is all not investigation has not confirmed it. Said the soldiers and they were attacked first and they only responded. Responding. I said any formula how because it depends on the kind of fire you are receiving.
And I don't know if the lady
receive the fire directed at your head, certainly you will not fire at their feet.
Yes.
Because the rules of engagement are different for every situation.
The lady in the video, I don't know if she was present.
No,
from her account, so she wouldn't know what really transpired. But of course, in times of grief, of course, she will be leaned or tilted towards Ninipana Sebi. So I understand how she feels in a state of mind and emotional state, and why she will make comments, especially when she wasn't there to know what really transpired. I understand because yes, obviously she's in some emotional and mental difficulty at this point.
But again, the point also has to be made. They said, Mr. Kamebawa, the point also has to be made. Say, we also, we sat there. We must not run away from the truth. We saw how this thing started. Now, for elections. Bossy, I have the video here. Civilian. You see, me make a mistake. I say, no, mommy, if you bossy, me papa no, if you bossy, me I dance for. And this election, not so genuine. We sat here and we spoke about it. People were defending. Soldier for I tomorrow almost come maintain peace and order in the community. Not the soldier for maintain peace and order or no civilian. But let me look for the video. Or to me, bosso Janina bosso. Hey, come on for that. What are you serious? Now, so Janino was so decent. This is bossy video you were in cry. I remember, but I don't know someone Namokaya.
Yes,
election.
Yes.
So one of the polling station, this civilian, saw a communication director was saying, now Momo so Jenny Bosso confronting the soldier. do that and get away with it. And yet people were doing this during the elections. So Sadani say no, so you need to control no. If he were a little trigger happy and Kabaya asem. Oh, until you they said their mommy can say now, oh, she admits that they did wrong. But to fire them in the head, if they admit them, you don't provoke military people. America for fighting a terrorism, there's no formula to fighting terrorism. They were even using waterboarding, which is against human rights rules at UNDA, but America for now can say Guantanamo Bay any formula. The fight against terrorism is outside the UN rules. That is what they said. And why are we doing anything different? Me who video no, but I remember there was elections. This thing happened. And now Sojeni had a gun license mandated to fire. Now kopem ne boso. And in fact, NDC as a political party never issued any disclaimer, never warned anybody, never condemned this thing. And across one, nipa 9 a whoop kojoto. We cannot continue like that because nipa we to me for monkwa. And some bag we this issue na pay Govt, especially Attorney General National Security me of an Director of Operation Office of the President Yera Kofi Boachi. I would have wished that Kofi Boachi and President be the National Security Coordinator and a National Security BNI boss, because a Director of Operation Office of the President, I was a demonstration against it. Kofi Boachi doesn't deserve it's too small for him. This is somebody who was in line to become IGP. This is somebody who has controlled one of the biggest police operations on the soil of Ghana. Oh, money position. And yet, Lord Comey was not a military, a uniform person. Lord Comey position, and Adama Kofi Boachi, and I refuse. And no crowd, there was a protest. Give Kofi Boachi national security. And can concept say, no Kofi Boachi, call everybody to order. Call everybody to order. Now I come out Kofi Boachi, a Director of Operation with Jubilee, or the other. So media Kofi Boachi Kasai on time sem Kabami say kwabre ni menini na no free apeja kwabre yes Director of Operation will Jubilee. We want National Security Coordinator. He should make Kofi Boachi National Security Coordinator to bring sanity into the system, because I get a 4 years or so we don't want that. Misaka Mami Musa this issue no tell Mami say oma ya boni or you say Galam say for na ye boni, but en kai ni say shoot to omutrim.
Who say no kasa say family member unua wu ba wu kunu wu sa na me amekasa da na muku ba imra kwam no technicality na didi asemo nti na meka say self defense no police for na kokrom soldier for na kokrom na koya ade no wo na call on ho nti stand on your ground law no apply wa ha ukoya den ho so obi woni fie na odi tuo kwa ontna ho na waya sama na nsa na wabeku ana so kun first it ono so a trained professional obetumi afatu akunipa 5 ukra na bia wu clock tuo no wie it uni police for ne soldier for challenge patapa asem na di we aba it ma me dia metiase mi asa no me ka da na muku ada na man fire mama warning shot obi a odem record di 2.2 so no koma warning shot. So soldier for any police for training on science shoot to kill. Say do baby how you na shoot to kill. You can't just say shoot to nipa no cry na umko training na. You the chest na mouth to train no. And now you be able to shoot. But obi bounce so you see shoot to ni chest ho. Ni tiuba messy ni na uba messy chest ni a bigger. It is shoot to kill. Self defense. By investigation no by mashi mbia compensation bi na omobaya na Chinese company now me ma be $5,000 bi compensation last year be civil case but I say obi be ko jail there it won't happen.
Wow. Any mera fun kreni be say any ala ogboya kagbele obi asuma o
patapasam na fuya patapasam na emranya adwuma no na say dansumu ho soja ni bi otikam landguard ni bi shootun sa landguard ni no yeso wa handcroft ho sa mi odan wo ho no barrier ho no omutumi ka say oh last time Ghana omu say omu ba ha omu kuta AK-47 omutimoto so tia 1,000 or yes kind of confusing me omu say 1 million 1,000 mi humu papa
1,000 is 10 million.
You bought them off. We are when you match TV. Now you the AK-47. No more Jessica. Where you buy 8 months ago. No more Ghana. Almost a langa so se patapa fu o minim din almost use batanga fu almost titi moto so na ni nam ho ntia na ju 10 na oni family she ho no ma bo gate my sika nya sa ye nko ena me ka tell madam fu bi oti o say na identity na police for na almost ni police for no na di banku police for no ni boys ni na di banku ju ko report man. Wow.
It's sad where we are turning Ghana into no yes sad to the extent now okay na kaswanya na nanu ya abanti bi so ye BNI o se ho no so koto share a whole military officer eku no okay.
It's not penny for say who say you can't beat philosophy na trend we has millions. You see a dua be wo woni so no e be wo woni no atwa sentem e say you proactive men tra ho na de si a na aginsem if say nipa sa na ye ya dwen work psychologically no who say adere ikosu sa no agi atum Ghana oba na can bribe asem o say man for say mo dey move free abrichere ba na can bribe ba ko tra ba bi 5 years I copy her character we dey Jessica go bottom Ghana after 5 years you took I go say sadie we na nyanti na 24 say otifa kwa otiwa dey so
me kama musa o say wunu ya be ma doc kan say idea way or see politicians in the share to political parties no see a solve we should start it from political parties no so say almost no they are the first one charity begins at home because never be start here and why not politicians not stop it no the example by elections say before elections you heard the NDC and MPP for yeah electoral commission I think one of the police said domio and ya domi ablekumo said papa isi man no kaso nya adwuma ni bi wabre yes to me who go yes declare why my former company multimedia report about in Italia tap the whole baby or report it or say the 2 polling station boxes eba party supporters say that be omonje na ya chinkofo na police for normal bomo say ballot box no
I know there are no price politicians need try to send them can be said send them think can say because any one so politician or the maba to have Princeton Columbia and Harvard no more now what the 100 cities I know the 77 oh here unemployment now on any one now if you are working kwa nepa over sorry ko di politician no more 50 cities now dinachi iko kwama no kra ni money Ghana ne yiri kura wo Ghana oyare anu afu plane omu be UN conference na Sean may di president achi ba fi omu be den madam fu bi ye aduma mikro mi o ye aduma wo Four Seasons hotel wo New York Madison and Park Avenue
UN one na UN one na ya president for need that
o si
omo Canada Lexington ni ade
Park Avenue hono enu millionaires na da ho ye we 100,000 crown ko e dani bi ye 150,000 a night Baku ya 10,000 into onu say UN for ni ba Rwanda Senegal no na omu ba 4 days no mo buku no muko Ghana for ni the 2 weeks so 10,000 na Ghana for pay both parties dukadaya NDC MPP mikro mu ni yaduma ho o seven on all council Ghana for the 10,000 a night 25,000 a night o omu kwa 2 weeks no ma ba je Senegal ni Nigeria for kono na Ghana for the fe no omu ye party omo so ye ko Washington mayor akekasa afia sika bicycle no mu di $10,000 a night hotel abra Nigeria for crowd Nigeria GDP I say omu make you about 2 trillion or you mu ye ni say ni make it.
Your point is that more than I am saying that's your point.
So sika die no ye na your politics mu for sika won say na professor na ka say America die no is for the country obi to say ago no no onu ijai vice president the omu freeze no be try there Columbia University law Hillary Clinton or Columbia University or trade media says here Ghana professor yoti si man post ofi ha on colleague on bi mu da meboa unko ho da free say wanya ho be wi sika that's the system nya aba usewu as a minister obi wo Wall Street New Jersey by 2 years ago almost said his salary require 12 million or see business school or call New Jersey na money nya adwuma no abe millionaire fia no charge 120,000 Ghana ni be na otua ne 10 million afia obeka say me ko take akoji take pay Barbara Fon, yes, if you say service to the nation, who you minister, it just say you serving the people. But minister, you crop as a worshiping organa. On cry unto a mama, no.
And what can I say? Trump nominee, yeah, well, you know, all coveting for I think national security or something like that. I acquire back and forth or a Senate hearing, you know. Ni pay audio of Fox News, yeah, I think 12 million a year. Meanwhile, ni pay our in government here small, but we die, you know, to serve in government. It's the okay, also. But
Trump or ni pay Trump, Busumi be already $1, ni pay already $1 and already. Minimum so besan you be mobile for no ni pay. A policy me person me change the amount for life. Me person me MP wo me chroma ya wo me wo mama obi akra. Make na kaso me person me call MP wa ya waso. In kwala nko school ni na baller so Govt and them toilet gugu abontin. I want to change that. Enye sika na di be mama say MP no ne me what driver na e be from me honorable no. E na be ya me dan honorable na be video bi. But me person me who say toilet na ya yan kwala egu abontin wo mama obi ni ma no. Enough of this. Kwame Nkrumah yes send him obey ne second to circle. Since Kwame Nkrumah time ye 2 years adian. You see you move Kutuka Airport, number class 2 akododua Kutuka Airport e ho na wo licensing office. Enu na ye di ye o man. Enya honorable degree no ni abodi akeka na babua.
My mama na say near converting him because this one they looks like yen who say yen na to ya to say baby akeka kono. In fact, around here back say if your social media is the problem now. Or say Kofi Ayimba for say the social media currently is not helping in some way as a Ghanaian. Or say social media no more and cry baby a social media na kono. Just where you go that say me ama yami moko airport you will be the account of social media oh I no be akwa airport even turns out say a normal gold exporter Ghana we are the biggest exporter of gold in Africa. You're the number one. Into obi the gold exporter when you so no be a catch low IQ no. Now you see a JD without any verification. Say I storming her. Into coin when you boy ya when you abo free when you abo free. This is just unfortunate. I do about say self-defense na police soldiers no so they can use that to defend themselves as self-defense. We work any sen kawoje and I also work akoji wo no e de ama ho no. We have a very a friend saying Preventative ministries. Tell a dog cooking. Party for no crown or party for bebo about so I need to say who dear tembi. When dear tema unya fans. Who dear tem the announce when your fans. When did we get to this point? When did we get to this point? Bukai Aziz say you are right, pa. Or see if you are okay, okay, me that say oh my fans me that's pa. See even in 6 months is alleged okay well do so yes some allegations near the allegations any foundation there but I will not be able to speak to it about T-boy or saying if you check the viral video of NDC leadership about this event before the election so it was bound to happen. Well some of the videos now maybe one man I'm still verifying them and sana because I can't just play without verification. We are suffering from diminished mentality and struggles to shrug off party politicking. If my party is doing something, it's okay. Yet the same thing, is wrong in the reverse. Abantiana Semo comes here very good trooper. Say a party here support it, but opponent in a choir and yet and also I'll see a check here IQ now. Yeah, they that kind of analysis mentally, Loveless could you say police must arrest? Okay, well, I don't know Sani Pakra Okan, so don't use any insulting language. You can just say police must arrest the person behind it. What they are saying, you're saying the jackal that fight off a wolf will surely bleed from the mouth. NDC foot soldiers no, and omo share actually. Well, we don't. The investigation has just commenced. We don't know who is that. Black say where is Media Foundation for West Africa? They are silent, mysterious, but what's happening as you. Yeah, you want them to come and just shout. They are not in the business. In any case, Media Foundation is a private organization. You have Ghana taxes into your muka. MC cry, they are Ghana to your muka. They have not spoken. And you don't ask Media Foundation to do anything. They don't owe us anything. And Asemba so was not to a mobo. Kobusemu and son of Oma Bekabi. Yan sorry, and Cassantia Munya Bucho near maybe. A chap of Patrick say, if you are good evening, pa, please. your brother Captain Smart should stop the radio work because they say no will be the gun drone. Well, he doesn't have to stop the radio work. There are ethics. We just have to go by ethics. No, we must follow the ethics of the profession. And the basic ethics of journalism, let's say, you must cross-check, you must check and cross-check again. Into being cancer and why are you silent? No, we are supposed to check, cross-check, and check again. Yeah, no. And as we must be fair and balanced. Equalization. We must be balanced. And leave the judgment to the people. So they be uncomfortable. Why having to condemn? It's not our job to condemn necessarily. Yeah, the NSA, when you facts, now we are condemning. But baby, now we have to take sides in editorial. You know, you have editorial. We can take sides and but again force. Yeah, the NSA, we must be balanced and accurate. Now, what Gina balance information also? It may a proper assessment. Now, you cannot be accurate. Now, checking. Our job is to educate. Into Ghana public debt, maybe Mahama Kone 10 million. Now, Mahama Kone 122. I'm supposed to give you back. The same people whose watch we are keeping, no matter do at them. So we have reduced everything into atem didier. And here, Nipa wu 9 people, Kopo Papanum dead and gone to Asamadu, dead and gone. Asamadu Sunya baby a quiet. Somebody telling the truth doesn't lie in insult. That's true. That's what I think. Some of you are more than 100% right. No cry, any atem didier. Bagama kwadi no cry no see a diatem. Did you see a diatem? Do buy no and diatem a wunya views. Obi pay views said you're not Mr. Doc on a canty. I don't need views for a competition. Now the media landscape has become a competition of views. If you cry to meet you, your software auto not views na beguso. We have all become so gullible. Say you did your views. And you no creo. T-Boy 7 Lady, did you hear the NDC Women Organizer insightful speech to their members? I haven't seen them, but there are videos I've seen. I'm checking the videos. Why? I told you, Bishop Onuya is responsible for this problem. Well, TV3 for Nankasa who own Onuya, I think they are working on it and they will bring out a statement very soon. May I mean about Esinam, who is a former journalist, Onuya. TV3 for years. She posted something. I think I want to read it. As an adult, we look at vetting. Mahama Crawford, do we have the right people? Any other? Miami boss, Samson Lade, you see, America for inauguration, beautiful, simple, brief, orderly, purposeful inauguration. That's a classmate. Inauguration, par excellence. Any level. Yeah, the inauguration that you can party for. Like you know from say I don't or Somali any Ghana kwana yebeko inauguration this how your party back and sign our inauguration. Such a primitive group of people. Yeah, you know from say and grow your IQ level na you be na no politicians also because we see and said they be ano omu see no because approaching for inauguration we be anko busa say identity and obi because once you are Ghanaian, it is your president that is being inaugurated. You can go. Sandra say it's disheartening to see the once respected institution like Media General, where I previously worked, now being used to air questionable content that showcases a lack of intellectual rigor. I'm baffled as to why the platform has allowed certain presenters to spread hate speech and nonsensical ideas. While I understand that the media landscape is becoming increasingly competitive, with bloggers and social media influencers vying for attention, a responsible media outlet like Media General should prioritize the nation's interests and adhere to the principles of journalism. Unfortunately, it seems that Group CEO is more focused on collecting awards and accolades than maintaining the network journalistic integrity. This is a stark reminder that as a nation, we often celebrate mediocrity over meritocracy. This is a former TV3 journalist. It is a sad state of affairs And I can only hope the Media General will rediscover its commitment to responsible and informative broadcasting. The decline of a once noble institution is a loss not just for the media industry, but for the nation as a whole. Etinam, and all the way to Sandra Etinam, and I will be back as apt. I have nothing more useful to add. It is not just a disgrace to TV3. This is a disgrace to the entire media landscape. Because I've done a competition, you attempt to the point where people have died because of content here. They are too abundant. We must all bow our heads in shame, and we must more do something about it. Doc, when we say about vetting, no, Mr. Kameba also vetting generally, and them say, you're right in a coy, but generally about the vetting. So far, my appointment or my work attorney general there, that and especially now that Echuo Kasani are the rule of law. So same way court and I say, are we putting the right people in place? Resetting na mahama kind. Are we on course? Ocean nomination na abana. Is it a resetting team? Team we be team resetting Ghana mayana.
Well, I belong to the MPP, but we need to be fair. I feel now or the team put it together. The effectiveness and the competence of any minister. No? To an extent, you can judge from veterinary question because obviously certain things are fundamental. Until you decide certain fundamental questions, not only answer, then people will start asking questions. Are you prepared for the job? Say, we have homework here now transition team no Emma note. Then you read around so now your personal research. So of course it puts you in some form of a good light before the committee and the public so follow no. But the sweetness of the pudding now, Brunicano, is in the eating. It is the end result. The policies are be implemented. A Juma be at the ministry level. Decisions are be taken at cabinet. Unforeseeable challenges are a bit to miaba, and how we be able to cope and turn the corner no. And the crop of people are you put it together. So I'm politically biased, but we can only wish them well. It's a period of frenzy. At this point today, say be a minimum Vim lady. I'm just praying say Vim lady be your appointment. Now Sebi, me da hua me home. Makasi minimum Vim lady. I can walk to her, I can call her if I need assistance and she can help me. It be a legitimately obey to me abuame. And see, if you monitor social media space and radio and TV, it's all about the frenzy at this point. Who is getting hot, when you call her, and all that. You be now at least first round or smoothness level. Obia on the smoothness level, whether you got something or you didn't get something. Then we get to the main work itself. And when the time comes up, I believe Ghanaians will start asking questions. If opportunity comes for Ghanaians to give commendation to Omo excel so I believe Ghanaians will give commendation. So we are following the vetting keenly, even though Nkrofo answers are evasive. Ibimusu there, very brief. Ibimusu obviously are saying things contrary to what they might have said in opposition. Typical example, finance minister designate talking about e-levy and whatnot, and then your core vetting. We saw what he said. Even the president himself, the taxes he said obey free or when we win the election before the inauguration, we all heard what he said. As if those taxes are tied to IMF conditionalities and we can only rationalize them. So we knew all these things, yet the politics. Typical issue I bet take center stage for months. LGBTQ plus and what and then Trump had declared said the only gender he recognizes by executive order in America is male and female. In our country, opposition, including the leader and the president today, at the year politics said the president should sign the bill. And then or see he needs to see what is in the bill first. Now it shouldn't be private member sponsored. It should be government sponsored and whatnot. So yes, the reality will dawn on us. What is in there, we will see it. We can only wish everyone well because Sebi, your mind bako, your Ghana. So money di ya, ye be di ye. So money di apenia. So ebedi opinion. So even though politically, ideologically, is divided, near obia focus ne sebi Ghana ena ye penny ye. Nti ebe congratulate the president and wish him well. Omo lobby for positions. If it falls on you, yes, I won't pay so much attention to what transpires at your friend is saying.
The vetting committee,
I won't
because
pay
vetting
so
is almost accusing hijack much ready.
Well, and people are also coming back. That's what I'm saying. So I won't pay so much attention because the Attorney General immediately past Attorney General they are over 6 hours vetting. Yeshaya Mami Utiko Jaba vetting. Yeshaya Mami Eslausu vetting. Well, I will not go back and forth on what is happening there and what is not there. Personally, the vetting, even though it gives an idea of who the person is and what the person can be doing at a certain ministry or sector, to me, it's not cast in stone. And yes, born home automatically obeyadi. And yes, necessarily or call ye now say be one to me certain questions. Ebi and briefing ye. Ebi will need details into definitely the person is going to fail. It is the person's performance, what the government seeks to do, because we're giving promises. Also, Ghanaian children be our university first year are free. So at the Ministry of Education, we want to say that yes, the government is performing. Also, free senior high school, double track system. They buy it to make sure the big schools now, the pressure and the traffic, they can absorb a lot of students, run shifts to make sure say time with books will not be cut. But able to me expose I use it building year round until introduce certain schools to we know also will be tremble. What will be the effect of it? We want to see it. And Kuala Sebi propaganda also about their feeding, some true, some untrue. Idea, I'll promise you, yes, henceforth, you are going to give monies to headmasters for them to procure food themselves. We are waiting. The taxes, you complain bitterly. I see a bino and a insensitive. And our man for who chiwoman. We see within 120 days. Excuse me to say, you are going to cancel all those taxes. Also, there's something called 24-hour economy. To a large extent, they couldn't explain what it meant. Finally, you've won the elections. We say within 120 days, you are going to implement that thing. We want to see what it means and who it is going to affect. Vim lady, 24 hours. I'm calibrating the meter to make sure that after 8 p.m., her meter will run slowly. The organizer will walk on or be here, Juma Najo, and until money police, a money light. We want to see all those things. At this stage, they are in the honeymoon period. Ghanaians will not be so insensitive to say we are holding your neck to certain things at this stage. So, until near see, including Obuasi, Ghanaians will not speak that much because you are a new government. And naturally, to everyone, people will give benefit of doubt, certain room to at least find your feet. And when the time gets there, now Ghanaians need to give you commendations. I believe they will give you. And when Ghanaians need to speak, I believe Ghanaians would also speak. So I won't place too much premium on what is transpiring at the vetting.
Okay.
I will wait to see what they will do at the various sectors.
But who can it? I know America for vetting it, and collaborate you. Maybe I have criticized a marking in the beginning, say, NDC nominees. But after I watch Senate, US Senate, for them say, hey, about any because they grill people. National security nominees say, right now, Yama was commenting in the past, even private memos I was sending when he was in the military. They brought everything. What he said about a matter, combat. It was a grilling.
Topic. And one of the female reps, the comment on women using certain language, using certain language to describe the actions. I sat down and I watched that particular vetting because now you're saying some about him and I wanted to see who he was and how they would deal with him. So I sat by the TV on CNN and I watched it from start to finish. And the gentleman also showed that he's brave. Ocean the posting, the answers to questions. So he was very brave. So I liked him during the vetting. The heat was on him, but he was able to compose himself and comport himself on set. And it's the same thing. Yahoo Bida. The time MPP was there, We saw how certain people were dealt with at the vetting, certain questions that were at certain times that people spent and how much time they spent at the vetting. I mean, honorable Afenyo marking, people can criticize him or whatnot, but of course there are precedents that shows that but in the end, we wait to see the people's handwriting on every sector, based on what the government has promised, based on what's in the manifesto, and based on what you need to do. Of course, we wish them well.
What do you think? Especially, we are more very interested in the sports. So far, you're sports minister nominee. Because
media last week Grana me one more but video make us Papa no 9 years ago idea be nam so integrity say be ogara na me free say integrity na large if you say you Senegal I'm say first game I ball Cape Coast Sports Stadium you Senegal under 20 ball no say 2-0 unum say na me ni Moshoni Aziz na what that time no say discussion envelope say farmer officials and referees no and the papa no say onye he will Cape Coast or say no almost say entia you say 2-0 yanko World Cup you Africa ni World Cup under 29 they didn't no that was 9 years ago no a sports minister of Cape Coast and almost say a bribe pass you did my referee no almost you say envelope mutam you lose 2-0 no Papa ne said no on yes adian and them see integrity be organa if we say ya senses or itimika say young farmer na ya ba integrity if we are integrity right accountability ni honesty chira media organa integrity ni say you come obisika on your passport my also no when you 100 make you 100 who do want integrity no ntia waso awo integrity no nye honesty inti ne wo ya ne ayase ensanye nsuo ne unyi abeka no kra no ne odi bu man inti akra ne ya dia petition na snap no sort takrama so a no wa yi ne takrama taste no trese insani nsuo difference trese ya wo abeka no kra accountability ukotwe adwuma odi sika ya de tu a ne ya churchum enye se o party ntini akata so na we microphone nam ho punini mu ni nam ho man ya odi sika dada me referring the NDC ni oni nam ho accountability wan iti Ghana na be wa officer Ghana be ade we ya maken accountability integrity honesty miensa we ya capture thousands of years Socrates no e bi Ghana be se bi ni Ghana en fa party obeba power ho of we are enye. If it's a politics definition, yeah, distribution of funds, sikania dear politics, and yeah, MPP and DC almost a tax I tear no or might be a so to me resist and yeah, World Bank sikania de ye ukro, World Bank ya tea negana cry and 1944 or Boston, negana wife. It's almost World Bank, you know. Na yene omu ni adwuma brofuna na tima ho se world war na say we are sinti yebeti bank yebeti UN na itokwa mabiem nti European Union mu hia 200 million ya ama Belgium ya ama France that time ne sha brofo asi nti IMF ni World Bank no omu nu nyansa kro no omu boy interest ni 10 years na untiamie if you say ya tino na uni ho on ma trans wo Boston no tremi bibini ano wo na Kwame Nkrumah cry in London or say that time. It in mewa it 1944. Your from Brentwood. A war see we tourist attraction. Uko Boston a hotel is your movie. Yani anki bubu sorry down a tourist attraction. Well,
so far nipa ya bo mudi kakra na pejama ma select because ni minutes is 60 but onye we 60 so far is it a team because of promising a reset overwhelming victory near the manager say here reset no do you think it's that team oji or mudi say gidi bi wo so met me am reset na ye pe no
eno ani semra be adwuma free say me ameti he semra anya adwuma me ko ti amewia ba semra simi kwan adam ntumi wia enya nipa no na oji ni di me no me ma me kra me nyi oni iti no se emra ya dwuma sa o ya de we ya se ne be ye wa eno na kire se o mani be ye enya nipa na wo ho wo ye popu kra o ko transika ho amenyi uni Mahama time no who can say deputy minister for information or baby or see or no super say or nya 1 million and san of free abemo yi
Vicky Hammer.
Okay, the psychology behind that the NHS and me kuma HSN Misuminya Bia HSN explain it. HSN Crawford we are it me a president America say, Madam, a dear sem now can me nyinadi, my friend office. I didn't know cancer or HSN Crawford we anti Misumenya Bi. That's the meaning of per sentence. By a palm,
you know, it went to me.
A palm, but what I just said, me who need kuma, me too. Miss Maria be a few catchers and Miss Maria be a trust and crofo, yeah. Me what? It no yinadi, now men yinadi, money blow secret, never say, who president who to me who be bio. It your trust and crofo, we are anti Sicida, the Paisi Kaya Guho. Now only defend people for defending. Swami MPB Mansabos no defending say mrabe and a war or mamu say emphasica imu edem. Fine. Or your demand in your bar, who call law school, better say there are many ways to kill a cat, right? Taxes, your taxes were Ghana. Jano, I saw how big a boss shall call girls in your chill. I say, oh, I shall illegal by a chill. Yeah, no, she. But Sikana Oji, oh, yeah, and Obasha now, Nutia tax near the Wako jail 5 years. Well, Sana Kasi, yes, sir, Mamma Cecilia Dapa, Sikano, we are good in passing. I can say, Sunny, but Ian Kano, Craigano, we are any moment, I saw your craboni. One who your system, Nitin Ukraine, Dibumano, Ghana, Ukraine, or Debia, their some far baby near their coffee baby. It is a honest in if we are me and honey. Pope grab a finance minister and then run your Juma over Yesica. Catholic Church, how many times no mutia tax at your court?
Okay. Well, but just a quick one on CAF appointment on Stephen Appiah. Say, I saw I take management team, right? Black staff, and we say CAF for 1 year arrangement to me. Because sports, you see, one of the areas of corruption cost of power Ghana. Okay, from 2014 World Cup. But see now we are called African Cup, yeah. 1 million, you cost say okay. We haven't been able to get a proper breakdown of then I must spend it this much. Oh, it is say I have management. Do you think that management committee may say be exposed? Joblessness here, maybe at my girl and can create jobs. But your good sports in England. Just a quick one on the sports. I'm called Doc for the final thoughts. I'm more for joining. On the sports.
Oh, sports no. Enye free say ye niche baby say a coach near here. Ghana sports in no share. Ronaldo no free Portugal no. On mama the new contract 188 million a few euro. A day your man 500,000. I never see this to euro. It's about 600,000 one day. Haaland your man over 500 million. Bonus my 500,000. Ni 1 week pro. Yani ayo kro muni pate. Your man $250. Inti Bosumi no making $1 million. $1 million of your it is all your banya to me creative jobs. Your talent no but development ne boy from. Ma can wait the last 20 years he said Ghana yem ko baby if say Hassan Kotokogu Oliagu obi bobo England also mo bobo Magana ne Hassan Kotoko na dia the omuto board there. Training on your development. Kudus year Giginisi 2014 year call Brazil. No, 14 years. Say about blasters. That means who 10 years. Ministry of Education say you face your football 10 years. Accra already 12 years. 10 years time not share blasters just. They about blasters 08 after no 18 years. Wow. It Accra already 10 years says no. Man 8 years development. Mama say watch when lasha when your baby idea bia and your professional sports who can box who boxing who got too damn but obey infrastructure for that development na no na ka yetire no any talent no it me anfa who say we are a minister in Niamano is about policies distribution of funds na politics sika na dia de na de be kwakoye if you say ni pasika senkwa no be yafua usisi wa usi mi pedan u be si 97 ukwa bakupe na odem itinu sika na ewi awa Africa na yede kwan uko ye no wi sika sha fridge cars wo hu obi oka cars mienu at the time da car baku na obeka pillow baku na obeka The bottom line 1 year you 70 years. Ghana ni ba ma 1 year you 55 years. It is as Ghana omu wia na omu de ko. It ya ya ba no kra ni ye mu no it is obi ba ye obi ye no me emra anya djuma judges ni ka ho emra krobe ya judges ka ho. Enya say the bia postpone no asem sa na free trim so obi kun obi o circle say si afua bosom ye di na asem obeko jail ana death sentence but wo my di afia no be ref you so we na twi to kun police ni no e di ade na police ni ye na free wadwin wo it will delay ade oh foolish case ye jeli ukra it is anete it no kra no na ye di buman enya party e ba power wa ka say party e ba power no Madam Fubi or Roman Ray just say, oh, me kai between Mama Hama. I went to Yabati petrol so last week and I'm seeing Mahama and control petrol price. Says your tax is snow tax is most of my hijacking 15 cents. Utigana Mahama or power.
Well, the Mahama or power taxes na shemuno, but I no cranny here taxes for development. I wouldn't advise because we see our Esla. You work taxes, you are petrol, no matter the bay, yeah, a duck, or cow order. You are better to can so the taxes must be there. We are almost say a nuisance tax, but then okay, you maybe one area politics, but the here to Ghana, the car was here. A man so a project also here to create jobs. Oh, yes, cannot there. In the tax beyond I was here, they were politics, so see a giant tax.
And if we are a straw a cat, and you're so straw cow, we are see. To see Kagu making sure so why did taxes no near the boom my Obama buy in America banks if you close it down or the Sikama when need 2 years or more who come back to history America history economists say yeah no Marco the Sikagu but making sure some Crawford taxes ni back and your taxes boom boom out to meet you we are boom boom workers in a Sikagu on bottom almost sit down to talk us no more by a moderator be able to making sure so resist Sika from your country and IMF now the raise your country almost a chairman and almost your IMF no wow it's yani resist tax who catch you say who tijomu tax who ye we tax but obi tijomu we ticket is still Johnson Milo chance ko Ghana e jomu nyina money wo Milo chance almost the heading. If I saw no taxes, Madam for Mammy or Confirm out there or a Joma, as it me, Mammy Milo, no, Johnson. A man Johnson Milo chanting, you see how much your ticket near the other.
And they're true, I'm not talking about Jom, I mean, they're true, you saw Milo, any a friend saying, Tin tomatoes chance, you know. No, we are now there. They are just it's sad. But I mean, I'm going to dog getting final thoughts on is the 120 days now. Muhammad buy and is it reasonable? Because on 120 days, near more bear within the 120 days.
Steve, yeah, on one Sebi, okay, say or political power. You have to tell something to the people. And Sebi, or no, okay, so it's just right. Say Ghanaians will be expecting. Say who can say anything, and see I could say. But like I said, it's still early days yet. And see you're crossing.
I was a man about 1 year. I mean 120 days is too early. At least 1 year to settle in government, appoint all his ministers instead of the 120.
Meneo yendi akonyani bida. Onipa no di bida. And now onim senate here. And I will say 120 days. So I believe with experience, he garnered the 4.5 years. Now, what's happening? After the experience in 4.5 years, if only mean yet in 120 days, I don't think so. So let's give him the benefit of doubt. So be to me. Okay. So we will keep reminding and we'll keep asking questions.
Okay, yo, Doc, in my personal opinion is we should give him about a year. See now more MPP for a crowd. Doc no crop for me say, Mama Mahama honeymoon. That's a more. Yeah, I'm saying we had no grace. You can't start to say more born. You
and I were not there. You and I were not
there. We are here. We are here. We have seen
you and I have not been president before. You name what goes into presidency. We can learn. We can see.
120 days measurement.
The person has been president for 4.5 years, and the person is coming back. Based on my experience, I can achieve ABCD in 120 days. This is the president. Me no need be that. yes, baby, it's not fair.
And the more better holding Mahama to 120 days. I think we should be fair to you more than 1 year.
You're holding on. There's a social contract. There's a social contract between every incumbent administration and Ghanaians.
Yeah, but it's not tied down to 120 days.
But the person has given you a whole document. He didn't just say it, but we're called ahead to print them in a document.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now, if we are winning, be about politics. If we are, you're afraid we be unforeseen circumstances. Idea we need now, so no different politics. Presidency Bibia, Nana do Basu, Ukraine war on the COVID, and a bobo man. It is a Mahama, you knew the about 2 years, and then they be define the presidency. You obey your account. Nana do Basu free education, Wabaya by Ukraine, only Ukraine war, only COVID. It is unforeseen circumstances, and only define the presidency.
In the end, me and Cheche Mahama to 120 days no.
David, I know they are math. I said, Choba, Biaba, Warrior, no Kosia, about Jawanu.
And I catch a dog, no, MPP for me, I want to say, almost Tata Mama to is too early, dog, Munyabo Chemano. I almost on one account 120 days, but I think must slow down, man. I more allow on the first year in office. Let him settle.
You mean what kind of war?
Well, it's all kind of war, but I think fairness of the rules of the game. Fairness of the rules of the game. No, that's why they are coming in, and let's allow him to settle in office. Yeah. More allow him to settle.
The bigger audience is the Ghanaian population, and see, I think we will leave that to the better judgment.
Okay.
Of the Ghanaian people.
Okay, you. Doc, Mami now see baby. Doc Ezekiel Ejekum, one of the MPP directors of communication. Pennyphone or handle communication or count.
Me a communication member.
Communication member, you.
The time we campaign, I was speaking on the health aspect of the manifesto.
Okay. And this is how a medical doctor so.
Yes.
19 politics.
There's leadership across board. But oftentimes, because of their training and the nature of doctors, we don't see a lot of us. But we have people who have excelled. Omanibo Ama has excelled. Napo has excelled. Zenato has excelled. Dr. Nuyama, former MP, has excelled. Dr. Okoboy has excelled. So I believe the few that have gone into politics. Recently, Dr. Beyo has become an MP. So a few of us in the politics, I believe we are giving good accounts.
Now, politics in hospitals,
on where we tend not to turn a good eye to, say, even in the medical field, there is leadership. If you go to every government facility, the head of the facility is a doctor. So there's leadership across board. And when you come to health administration, if you take institution like WHO proposes policies for international health, for example, and it's down to
we have to look at health sector in general. We have to also look at the future of Agenda 111. We will look at health minister and also we need to look at health as a main policy for Ghana because
if you are there. If you say at the age of 54,
politics.
Ghana in your 60 years, it's a topic I transit. Almost campaign, almost halfway. Colon cancer, cervical cancer, Ghana former over and over. Me one more have came. Last can you and report almost in Kuala 12,000 in 2024. You on more ace. And I'm seeing a memory. Obanya, my see an ace test. No protect Ubano and Tiahanum by force. Upa, Unyimupe, Yabayo Estes. And now, baby, now 12,000. You see, on more ace.
Hospital crab, our hospital, they do it.
Very good.
Okay, and I saw Bohundaro, doctor. Muna some Bohundaro. If you say, I see a Trahona cry, I wouldn't know what is.
It's been done. It's not to defend ourselves and say, but it's been done. But when you come to health leadership, all these things goes into the training.
Yeah. No, but I think one better health as a sector on this one because it's very important. Being kidney diameter, they say the top disease is Ghana for kidney. And you can answer and say,
we will have time. You have time for
I'm saying heart attacks, stroke, and cancers, and top 3. But I think they say kidney is joining.
Kidney no doctor na tie malaria wo mu miensa de wo kidney disease na bi Ghana. Doctor na tie obusa.
Malaria is kidney disease.
Yeah, malaria ye wo mu miensa. Baako wo ha ebi wo Ghana e wo kidney kidney disease. Nti amanfo be ka say o microphone no mu sa.
Doc, is there a malaria, a particular strain of malaria infection in kidney? It
will not be a primary pathology, as in say unya malaria na sebi ebia wanya a condition like that. It definitely has to do with pathophysiology, going into complications and perhaps the complications of complicated forms of those
but
conditions.
there are complicated forms of malaria that can lead to kidney infection.
There are complicated forms of malaria that can even cause stroke and cause seizures in kids and all that. Wow. So okay. it's
Mr. Clark, as a subject on its own. I think this is a matter that is of concern. And then I say cancers. Now say I cancer. Ibrahim and take it no in South Africa. Unfortunately, no do also no go. So we are having Myanmar 50 years ago, in Ghana, but we are having cancer. They say the rate at which cancer, stroke, stroke, a serious issue that we must look into. Until I was concerned about doctors doing politics. Meanwhile, doctors but we
have cancer with Ghana pass colon cancer, constipation cause. We yamutima obi osi nansana me ko ba fru me yamatim uku de ye no colon no ade na doctor na tiwi ade na aduane na yedidi afam ahoma na afam ba no enye se nti da bia ye se ye nananum bagimi bre na on musa enye se unya fiber ye fruits aduaba bia wo fiber adua ho nti na nananum sa na on munya 100 years no me ka se on kosa by the fruit kwadu abrabada bia ye se odibi every week na ye mu hwie enye se colon cancer be ye oto doctor na tiwi
Dog, that's it. I'm going to say no name is
Mr. Kaswa said all my health education.
Yeah. Fruits in there very important. Me papa first no. Who say been aduane this all the okutuo esi ho. Okutuo nsi ho am papa ni obe order wonti. I've grown to understand that we say we have fruits, you have fiber in your diet, you have a bit of it's very necessary say you be nyani nyina bi na aboa because all the class of foods no nyankopon sabe nadwene enye es alanta nyankopon nim de nti o ma different classes of foods e wo say ni nyina koye ni pedem ni nyina so wo na dwuma enye kabonu nko na de bia banku na de bia fufu brako ma memra ho na menko elder ho no mo joining us so that you can also share your views mainly on other especially Obuasi DNA lawlessness no whether it's sabotage or brako. Good evening.
Good evening, Sister Ifya. I hope so.
Yes,
me the can me person make car appointment in kakra and sana maka we ni bi. Okay. So we say asema na wo ka say omo didi atem no. Omo didi. What is their positions? One positions am Mahama eyi.
Nominations nana.
Appointment no. Unkita friends and masters in power and foul. She'll be an CV. Unkita masters in power in Bowding.
Oh, Bracco, huh?
Would cause him now we are full soldier now. Cocoon to qua. What was this? Appointment there, Bano. Unkita degree, unkita a friends a PhD and now law, and I said masters in power would count. And easy, if you politicians, they politicians. Some person will take you serious, how I will back us, how I will comport you, any education, and on the say, acquire you didn't see her be. And yes, I did be better than the food soldier. This is my main sanka about appointment. How you know you do to the matters and coffee be a setup. But say, do a test, mano. So to me, handle because the educum me who said. Obia any education minister biaba even including Apo Abagana or so vibrant sing educhum. I mean the man has he's a top notch. Wa my education system no kwanim. Enti we test ma Haruna for the presidential ambition.
But Haruna handle more difficult ministry, labor. Handle labor beautifully.
System education is not a joke.
Look, Haruna Edrisu was 1995-96, around one of the most difficult times in Ghana's education sector. He was the NUC's president. Haruna Edrisu record now. Change academic calendar. The history is there to 1995-96. In the Haruna Edrisu on your children, you know from at the time from communication or communication, you about labor. Before the first labor, he performed excellent labor ministry. I don't know how to do so. Leader, there is no agitation about me floor how to do so. I believe in how to do so that much. Education to me is follow how to do so. He's good.
Almost study and who said no education system no. Since you are including free SHS, first senior high school, first university and Ebano, a bed in was a honor modernako. Because omunim ne capacity, omunim adi obetimi. If Haruna is able to excel, na otimi education system near hipe, what making a name for himself for his presidential ambition. Maybe I am the pass on modernako because I mean he's going to put a lot of people like Govt who say yes because they are in Govt say oh where is just a setup almost setting it up for say Obefelina.
And how do you do say the minimal do so no? Educhum our blueprint. How do you do so? My so best friend say educhum. And hena mo ye adwuma no kosi ye. And if na ofo say metimi ato aso, he will consult him. How do yeah? Oh yeah, tia bonte na mo ka say ye IQ ni olo no. Ye nim de mo ti parliament mo nya ye nuanu mo. Obedi document no educhum no ahwe baby o mo ye kosi ye. We will continue. How do you do so? No, he's good. I believe in him. He's good. Yeah. Nobody
about Obuasi issue and so well when we and yet Ubi never catch up same way but to say the call for inciting call for meaning say what in kind ne estate or and I say the video now sit why now our condemn Captain Smart say more journalists for and I say media no man standing against certain things or mind more. That Saturday it will come back to bite us. Yankasa. Ministerial, Munya platform beer, Muntimi educate Ghana for say. And then maybe even if a media personality can't writer, they shouldn't do it. It is so wrong. Saying I go through this because if you military people are not trained, say or having public sympathy, they are trained to defend themselves. They are trained to defend the country. And military no honor anything no military a police for so nipa soldier for ntesa so then you mistake obekum they are only trained to defend themselves so they only defend themselves when they feel threatened. To me I don't blame the military people because who are attacking obekum what you say it's kakra we am person me make
yo bra ko no asese na o join here ada good evening.
If I'm busy on your do from the butcher.
I didn't every day I say that. Sorry.
Okay. Butcher, one quick question. I can a calf, butcher appointment on your
I've read a GFA here. I just said a GFA management here.
On that particular appointment, me if I have my own observation, I have my own idea about it there. And the one appointment for Blasters Management Committee, but it would have been ideal if you appoint them for the whole national teams. On your Blasters pet, the same people will handle under 20, under 23, under 17. That is more efficient use of public funds. In the GFA for so why in there maybe away be they are autonomous but I'm one of those who don't believe that abandoning because at the end of the day coaches in our for abandon will count. So Aban should have a say in some of these things. The people one of our underwear management committee, they are quite knowledgeable around their base there. Stephen Appiah, of course, nobody can doubt his leadership quality. One thing about Ghana for you there, Say, unless we appoint to be the there are people who sit on the fence and they wish the person not to deliver or not to fail. You power appointing, when you the capabilities of the person, that is why you're appointing. So you don't to me, yeah, and come appointing. I'm gonna just say, what can I be see vetting your code, right?
Talk about
It means
check on microphone, man. Still.
That's my guy. Yeah, each and every person, yeah, President Mama appointed piano. It means that person only know to my juma into our appointing. Now, may a sure party before he might have communicated to those people. It's not like a surprise. For the person to even agree for the name to be put out, that means why read obey juma? As a question in there, Banawa is a new government. Banawa starter. What is this presidential ambition all about? The person hasn't even talked about. For a politician, they have ambitions, but at this particular moment, we probably have to concentrate on a human or a. So, if anything, people have to skew their mind towards the job that he's going to do. I'm going to get to say, this government, for me, I believe that everything that they are going to do is going to be a continuation of what has been done already. That is why they do handing over notes. I had a man, it's like when you're handing over. Because handing over, it is where you know where the ministry is, where they are going, and what you're supposed to do. Not church, listen, the era of Abenga be Juba, Abangufraba, Wabugu, and with this particular one, I have this strong belief that it's going to be the end. As that MPP, a continuation, agenda 111, we are sure there's we the health minister, Obuasi, free SHS, or we education minister by Obuasi. So start free university first year, the next NDC government or MPP government, but so Obuasi. That is the way to develop as a country. Yanyanda ma yebejina one start, yebejina bibi fa cry Finally, on the issue of Govt Okobonetri, I'm one person who don't believe in violence, as I say, but the impunity is getting too much, whereby the civilians feel that they can contend or they can actually compete to the military or police or anything like that. It's because of the trust that when you security services. Mom, can I just say, in the time past, there have been security officers who actually shoot indiscriminately. Maybe we shoot, we shoot. In some, the people also feel threatened. But I'm not one of those people who actually encourage anybody to fight or to challenge a military person or police person. If you are doing the thing and there's a law enforcement, that you go according to the law. You understand? On the beginning, you are now. As a very concerned, is about the issue of captains. If you are in the BBM platform, that there's one thing I always talk to you about. Don't they say a started a casa, they say Obi Sebi, Obisha Hobo conversation. Let's say a yoko, a one person who I always urge you not to even make us one because Senipan Sebi, Osha Hobo comment section, I say. Let's say Eka. You are giving the person mileage. One can I say? Segana for if you are ready to listen to intellectual discourse or we are ready to have analysis, programs are at the moment. I mean, I'll not even subscribe to it. If the person knows that social hope and say inculcating, it's not born shahoba, but obey Obosho could Obi starts social hope pair. Discussion saying, Obi are removed. A person started the Asia Hobby a bone for Babo Jones is also a baby. That is where it starts from. So the only way we can do that is not to give mileage to all those people who are insulting. But me could be a king. Asia Hoba, you wouldn't put food on my table. Neither will you put food on the politician's table. I'm going to try to say, we shouldn't even entertain them. What should I hold? That's it.
Okay. That's it. Alvin, good evening. Nana, so do more camera into me about so very soon. Alvin, Pacho Yentio.
Good evening. Napomo.
Adam.
If you meka
Obuasi incident, Namaka appointment, Namaka as a general.
I don't know, so make me have the microphone on Kakaya, and I'm the microphone quite change.
Sir, the Metmacani say Obuasi incident, I was some penny food to when I see no more ye. But yeah, sometimes maintain young Ghanaians, yes. Meaning, some me imagine me kwana be a me who is how can you just get up from your house and say, make up a man with the will be property? It may be someone so one Casancasa as a person or two on all them. Now my boy Ross and the Pemman with the idea, a dear na belly.
I think where or microphone actually, I don't know why we are there see. Minister was where you stand. I don't know if you can do anything about it for me.
Hello?
Yeah, by watch it. So I don't know if you can bring it forward to you, or maybe we'll sit in the bed anymore.
No, Abia, meaning Sabia mammy use you a usual Sabia and also come.
Sometimes earpiece, no, yes, sir. Dance, good evening.
Good evening, them lady.
Yeah,
Mama Junior at you for
yes, super.
Okay, this issue about Obuasi, my name is Mamina, yet now Obuasi for about 5 years. They run a coast over home. Many are Nanaya Wamponsa. I know, say you know him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They run a coast over. So, I mean, I'm a bit connected to this issue because I'm a Tina Honomono. Now, I think, say, it's a bit unfortunate, say, I'm with Jane said they can invade the AGA mines na I'm call honomono. And you're wrong. I will see you shooting it down. Sebi, it is not right for them to be killed or whatsoever, but however they invaded that place, to me, it was so wrong. And mind you, these people are trained to kill and they have a license to kill. And when you go to that extent, because he called somebody, and then the person was like, I think the police did not just wake up and started, soldier phone did not start just killing them. They gave them series of warnings. And I think that they felt, and you see, there's this so much disrespect. I also, Ghana, in regards to I say me and now during the election, now civilian to me pimp soldier in Igbo, thinking, say, I don't know. I said there's so much disrespect. First, who are when it comes to military, I said call. And I think this should be a wake-up call. I will see who say, you see, the fact that in Yema SSA not will be the respect a man and interest say, and Yemi born me was here, you feel say a normal, or you'll be become. And mind you, same way, Mr. Papa no di can Mr. If I'm making Mr. Car. So like you said, the same way, trust me, because these people, their main reason for being there is to protect properties over there. And that is why they are there. And to amount now also be mra, no mra me debe, emra medin sembia and fata e honomo. And there's this issue, me person me busao. In Ghana, journalism, do you guys are licensed to practice over there, right? There's no sort of ABS say, yeah, license you'll be one. Then you see MRS in Tiamon's sign, you must say, I was see many licenses. They said the American will say, Ubia license, or Uye Bibin and Sen Fata, your license should be suspended or revoked. When would you say it should either be revoked or suspended? Say, Unya, you suspended, trust be and say, yeah, I believe that the next one is there, be revoked, so that you don't practice again. Because you can't incite people. Now, I mean, mind you, the next minute this person is gonna be online. It's obviously but TV so and but see a suspend when your radio station and a TV station on your moye jumano and a suspend nipa na o ma to me say obey journalist or Ghana hono or no say uni ye went in ye jina so ye suspend if for the next 1 month untimi nye adwuma bi say after that we say bibinia we make a decision. And this is what I want to add to it. And it's unfortunate media so resting. That's what it is.
Well, Unianum be case yakosi usun ne Antonio. So say video no asama catismat kaka any old from 2003. But you see the fact that they old doesn't mean because you see Bonnie. We see there's no smoke without fire.
Doesn't matter. It could be 10 years
It takes
ago.
a while for people to react. The fact that video near 2023 and it doesn't make it justified.
They might have just chanced on that video. They might have just chanced on that video. It doesn't matter whether it was 10 years ago or 5 years ago or 2 months ago. They might have just chanced on it and thinking, say, I had the moon, so they should do it. It doesn't matter. I know it doesn't matter, you know.
I like the video.
Let me tell you something. Don't make us try. We are going to pay the consequences. I'm being honest. Get back. You are not going anywhere. You are not going to the police station. You are not going to the police station. You are not going to the police station. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Hey, move it.
This is so sad and unfortunate.
Listen,
Who civilian? Who to be
yeah.
a boso jeni boso?
Tio.
And yeah, I want to point you now. Mujituono. Who back the trained officer? Tio.
Question. All treaty military ni say, and all treaty police officers say, no, it will be why not be friend. Why not be friend? These are people that are supposed
to a lawless country.
These are people who are supposed to protect us. And you try your honey a boy more or chinebi say be better. Who are we going to ask help from? With why more and you become more for more? It is so wrong. It is so wrong.
Nana. Yeah, na yes, only area boy, if we can do they attack the officers, military, at the amount to form when it's a disgrace. They just give them standing ovation. You clap for military. You give the military be a veteran. Maybe uncle, you're a veteran. DC or the Starbucks require a half price. That's how much America respect their soldiers. Unrespect soldier. Who to me boso they need a phone touch any open the ball. Don't go. Other military needs don't go. Now the instructions here, dear man from Competence.
A Jimmy to a free name. A Jimmy to a free name. Stefia, Messama, Miss Achia will be. Miss Achia, I feel the
yeah, they say they're perfect.
Stefia, so on my Ghana, no lawlessness. What's a fee? No, sorry, some copema no dian. Oko can be say, Oko pen and no dian, dear, then I'm Yanesa. Oh, store, Nami Bora, and Befa Milu. Befa, a Gianim, and Morai Sakufia Conwedia, a bay all day. Oh, Pebibia, a commodore. A commodore, on one year there, on one property with Jessica are quiet at the end. Osi commodore, oh, Coca Ghana for so. A commodore, Omonia day, a own property. Ubenya, a Chesamin who have word I mean you should say, a omodia, they should fight for. A dear no diano, they should Captain Smart, so to us is here no be borrow fee. Sassasina, Gamanche and cry assassin out as Oya and Cranny. Sonyan Cranny, but what die or cry. It will be borrow and can you be borrow no castle? In Benjamin Sassia by order. I know that because what Jessica and yes are property no. And your dear, my aunt now, and I say, I buy a issue a UBC. I say, maybe a Captain Smart and Suspect. Oh, what's I say? Or Tata.
Well, it doesn't work for Abai. It's only the TV station that can suspend him. Abai no cannot suspend him. They don't have any contract relationship.
And Nunti or Mino on some minion can say, Moon train, journalists for Ghana, they are not trained. Obia sorry,
because Yamu are trained.
Oh, is that catch them Okay. Omo mo ye train kra.
Men kind of blankets and you'll be any trained. Many of
Okay,
us
all right.
trained. A bit trained.
Okay.
Because
May
when
withdraw
you
statement,
know, you need school
Uh-huh.
and extra journalism. So what I say, and a local
Okay.
language journalism. It's a lot of people found themselves on local platforms who didn't have training. Majority of
It is
journalists who
for
run
now,
it
no.
are trained.
For now, no, we are saying no. Whether a local language, whatever language, I can go whatever. It ain't mean ain't no more for say or more utterances. This if you say obi kokan even said yes suspended no. Mo crop for suspended and I'm president suspended na. Or mo be target abano. Oh, abana kan ho. Abana kan ho. Mu chese mo ya mo hu nipa bi a asien kama asem. Suso mo da mo ka obi asem. Certain years now can assassin we are kind. On send no be akoyiaba. Internet words we use in internet no. And we should be mindful with whatever you yeah. So America ha. And obi call her na soldier for my attacking to say election time or attacking. Trump will even call on allow on flat. Here time mukum sa Black American ina say Black Matters also you know.
Floyd.
They see. Thank you. He did such time now Trump na also. O deploys soldier for. O deploy or mining kase ehunya or police was no. Or titi helicopter Mississippi form. Go to train station, port authority, Grand Central.
Yeah,
why?
A Grand Concourse, so New York, you see them there, yeah, they're working around.
Even small substation, you know, like you can see discipline. Yeah, they chase or to throw the kokuna. Oh, military for come home, then you pass okum. I will encourage them so be a attack Momu hesitate to cry. Because Major Mahama, come than a faso. Some Aquani Yanadi so
you could have ended up like Major Mama than you.
It's the same. All the 20 friends and crying a hole. And the 20 year can my good. I can't semi shots on your mercy and me be some who say. And Tiganians pa ye cry su any a bite. Is it how we brought up?
Because the police one they had the safety on, so yes, no. Because if they didn't have the safety on, it could have gone. It could have gone off. And if you could have stand up, you
yes, on my men, oh yes, muso. Because
yes, safety no was on. We can go.
Sevia says Uncle for no muji to one cranny 20 kumo Kenya mio. Obi oti bedu be answer call what in the or gin home. Chese. We should condemn all these things under no circumstances. See a bit make us a comedy or baby, say concession or dear, a brofon or and so what? And so I be before what America or be what property I just say, oh, you know, cry or African you or in Nigeria and be or a Ghanaian. The Americans, the white cannot go there and say, Otima Abamicromo, Abe, quiet, you back Jeffrey. No. Yes, sad to say my buying aba me kwakojiwe enya wudia. Stefia appointment na so yes said for say MPP for say yam to Obuasi. Yam mo mra ne hwe wo mo. Emfa mpai bo nta wo machi. O man yi yam o. Ebe boy MPP for nkram ye dia campaign atia wo mo maybe eba. Ti Stefia kakra me kan na menu am mra me ka bi. Yam mo mpai fanta ye man pani achi na onye nyoma papa mo man no. Nyame nka ho no no nya adwuma. Amen.
Yeah, that's Alvin. What else? Good evening.
Evening, Sister.
Mbacho Indio.
Mr. Tiefi, investigations, no. The difference between NDC and MPP. They were very swift. NDC for a very swift. Assembly C, no, issue white paper to investigate the issue. But I said I was so Westwagon Assembly CN. It took the president days, pressure from the society before president a year now doing say Obabe institute any form of investigation. there was pressure on him before he did that. Ushe a 2020 election Ukraine and Ukraine the one come once them cry no form of investigation. Why? Because Ubia benefited from that action, you know. One young and no nama the citizens Omanya that courage say okay now no we versus them, we versus the security. So yeah, that is the whole scenario. Because I said the security is here no the enemy to the citizens until at any point in time be able to attack you. And as if you are winning, the reason why Asanyama winning is Akufo-Addo, ex-president Akufo-Addo, will lower the standard of security in Ghana, especially the army. Or no, now army these days, army in Ghana or the military in Ghana as errand boys. Those days, you will never see military men guarding party foot soldiers, CEOs, and all of these people. Ex-president Akufo-Addo, or no, creative Sanyamano into military for no common commodity on the market.
The foot soldier ben a military garden. Why not a foot soldier military garden?
He be brave. I mean to minkai, but
what boss? So hey. What year the testimony of Adabuga? Adabuga 2003 before the National Reconciliation Commission. When you say that military has become errand boys, in the revolution days, time, no, they were the boys' company, they were errand boys. Adabuga say no all is more gold. Obuasi, I don't know how true that is, but this was his testimony before the National Reconciliation Commission because I was a small girl journalist at the time. I was a student there, but I was reporting from there. Yes, a military for guarded particular people no, on request. You can even apply. Cheddar, who was a military voting anymore?
Oh, sister,
who was a military voting? You can request.
Sister, if you are a police for Juma.
I know, but I'm saying that if you write to the military, you do elections, media houses, no. We are guarded by police for we do election. We write to the military for them to guard us.
No,
particular journalists like myself, because immunity, they are assigned to us individually. Yes.
No, it's very wrong. I see it to be very wrong because police.
No, but who are you? The armed forces, no, they are in charge of it. Police department who they go and check the ratio between the civilians and the police. And normally you do critical issues, but now you request say, military be ever boawa. Even military police in the army, no, they have military police. They have different segments. They can assign you something for a particular national security concern. It is done. Yes, run boy. Security arrangement. Now say I na your book akra. Right, so to be a Bank of Ghana boss. Sometimes
if you have security concern, national security for protect that infrastructure.
I say military for national security.
A different level of architecture, but me is a normal national security crowd.
Yeah, depending on the, I don't know how the catcher will say. Me Belgium, right at the airport. I think that time they said there was a security threat also at the airport. There were military people. Ordinarily, airport who military or USC. National Harbor, DC National Harbor, New York Grand Concourse, New York, so Grand Concourse.
Yes.
Sometimes you find the military there. I said, but they did more after 9/11. You find them there. Why? Because they were a national asset.
Sister, that you just.
Are you saying it's America? So I don't military for errand boys, Anna.
Sister, if you have my point. Sister, I walk back to my point. You bet my friend military, no. So I'm protecting a critical national infrastructure. Fair enough. And the national infrastructure, let's say airport, let's say a harbor, whatever infrastructure you say individuals be sorry no more attack here, be affect you now. But obi private radio station there. On one is all to me providing
now I find a private radio station man owns a military for.
Oh, want to me radio say now not money now sometimes.
Soldier for.
Yes.
And unim the reason why they are there.
I don't know. Maybe they want to me feared say be attacking.
My office, what by your office are despite media.
Oh, there be remember.
They do elections are military for never. Me want multimedia and to do elections and military for now, especially say you about the call elections now. We say you collation. Say I be call normally military for now from.
Oh, but me it's more private asset and you're national.
National, private, but you money national security consent. They do lockdown, cry, you can essential services on. Until you might military say we want them. Yes, we pay.
You pay them.
Yeah, we pay.
Okay, but say
the police if also any from we pay them. We pay the police, we pay the military.
Yeah, fair enough.
You pay 2 layers. It's not make us the word does. Say I want to say I know what to book because elections in my years 2012, you call election for President Mahama. No coffee at the most Captain Smart, Kabamunia Jane, Neka mini Evans Spencer. Until my boss see and call and say, oh, my MPP volunteer calling a mamma, we number boy. Until I was the one who was leading the team, and I said, train, my friend, military. They brought us military before we called the election.
A system because
no, me see, no. What for GBC? That GBC constantly there's a military president at GBC, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation.
Yeah, national
constantly, yes.
Yes, national.
But what was it? Although media houses they private, you know. A Juma of national security because elections once them. Until you do elections, and now when we are threatened, one time there was an issue. I think Bobby answer. We had military at Asempa because they had threatened Bobby answer. Until Patria wouldn't we quite clear, because when we request, they bring us.
Level of security, no national security, but my handle that way.
I may say military national security,
Yes, but I say levels.
Oh, what boss? It depends on the threat we tell them. We feel like threat do. And we tell them, say, no, wait there, and you're beyond police into your military. So, it's about 2 police officers, then they give us about 5 military officers.
Okay.
Military officers, some of them wear uniform, maybe one won't share uniform.
Okay.
Yes, depending on the level of threat, no.
Any point I'm making on that one is ex-president Akufo-Addo lower the standard for the military. That's it. We'll be able to argue out, however they look at it. But me back to a Haruna ne Educhum Diano so. Haruna no, since Awuka said from 1996 or so then, he's been in the game for that long. Our experience, you know, he knows his work. He's not. He's Educhum Kram back close to a Haruna because Obi Ekofan who abrochre a California a buy a crowd on said a name your terror no crano. Amount for a budget so say was so CD. How much more will be or starting game no from 1996 and beyond? Ono so betima succeed. Into more claim making that claim say Haruna on to me succeed no. They are just dreaming. Into a argument argument no. Now you back to positions na demand masters ni PhDs ni doctors no. Yeah, it's a bad idea because we need experienced people. As MPP forecast, oh, we have the men. We share MPP side of the men now. Mostly they recruit more lawyers, masters, PhD, and all of these things. Into the NDC 4 year no, it's not out of place because your Juma be an any level. In the full soldiers also almost in a certain almost level. Into more money to say, oh, or more moon shed any formal education, or they are left out. Almost into almost two or Obuasi, they'll find a place for them.
Okay.
Now, I recover. Now, my last point now, a journalist. So, a problem in Ghana. Until I said, share the way on address the issue of journalists. Now, more creative fear and panic. Sanya man, who share wound to me TV now. So a journal or a journalist, I don't know, so a rep was there. Okay, some Ometu Abano on the 7th.
Yeah. Sent the action no for spreading false,
Yeah, information, serious one. And get Krobi serious, a Krobi and Kabana Odim pending.
See action, I think case of court still, yeah.
I are releasing and Kabana crank so Odim.
Yeah, a bill, and you release case of court, or movie, a bill. So what's your trial one, son, a bill?
Okay, Mama, I saw fast track is a case, you know, I fast setting example. Emma, the future journalists, I want to remember and misinform and disinform people. And see, the immediate chat one in as a journalist licensure exams, you know, as a basso. Now, almost started almost throw exams. Now, filter out the bad nuts.
I support that. I support that.
Okay.
I support that. Yo. Okay. Mami ti okay. Akwa so. Oh. Na bato be o microphone no. Bato na ma yam choose ano.
Oh, Debbie, Stefia, me okay, but some culture say. Oh, Debbie, Stefia, I know they are not. Elections they all or say ultimate psych. Either you win or you lose. And I know they will lose who have.
Now they have the town pan. They have the bed.
Debbie, Stefia, and coming. The reason is afena a mindful frabanti who he has a obana obebashi omo who he also oma time no the settle and the other class as some may became cramming or my pain John Mahama as some crowd and yadia making be a Obuasi issue na a person a Rebecca cry instead of having my finish up answer
you haven't got met here.
Initiative a tearful na Stefia a reason pane a Paquesina is a Paquesi onya a idea or Casa or Casao a Ahubrasium or no ever be truthful. So be the Atma Mayfield. We are there, Sanity. Stefia only the echoes were Ghana. Stefia me blame a amanyo for both MPP and NDC. Ye can who be na Sanya Mestefia Ecoso Ghana. And it's saying the way I see a campaign, you see Casatra a co campaign, you see Casatra Mono. And then I am a to Oma Asumo. And you said that by no a buyer now, if you say BBI a buying the anti or so the force square the Ecoji. Stefia had the Ecoso Ghana. Oh, Shania my Ecoso Ghana. If you cry or Chama Boaje, nay, in a Jumim Chroma, cause a bind the
I say what is saying 2M.
Mirror Fidino.
I'm saying microfinance company. Yes, or Marco a video.
Microfinance, a transport company. Yeah, out to as a BBR. Our crowd, Omar call the terminal horse when they are binding at Homokoji. Look at this. Magdan, the same thing Moko Hose, a Honso Aban Mokoji. Oh, indeed, Nina, a Casa, a campaigner, a Casa Chrom, a bine, a Kukuba, once a ma, Omoko Catre, a for a galamse for his abine by an Amumrame Mojuma. And three punishing it seems a winnie and ano, a yedia, a beji, but a yes, son was said, a and I say if you are a IGP no way for. Oh, a disgrace, Papa, good way mass. Ah, Stefia.
I say where they are 5 IGP or Obuasi system. Now,
That is the Obuasi issue, no.
Generally, about near my cost.
Yes, the Aquaso Ghana, no Sanka action be Aquaso, my own say, a Dinipali be Aqua court, ya chibi, a debi tuma. Ka obi tincha because me ya chinu dia me so me koya ya be den yen so ye be me ba ye hu IGP no kra say staff ya untini din dia me last time bi hu IGP ni say swearing in o man pay Mahama ye so ni in na okogina ho a order tickets. Look at this. Who ya IGP uchu mu tan a Jo Mahama be yi afiri ho and uchu mu tan because edwumafo na wo ye no ye be o say Ghana ye sesa ye be you afiri ho also we make sure say Ghana ye peace there ye wo because omo yes ani ma no na omo kɔ ha na omo gigi ne ma na say obi ankasa na IGP
but say he has been given some order from above not to arrest. I know.
Now, sister, if you are order from above not to arrest, at the end of the day, who did you ever nipa na o ma order no sister, if you are minu mienu, ye nim nipa no. But so far as I now ye IGP a, ye di mre nyina ama o se hwe na make sure say a peace beba kro no mu de bibia ba ye who did you ever. Enti ne mebi wo ha o ye IGP no say o ma this IGP kro ni maybe IGP o. And if you are my paying my hammer, so this is the time I was so sorry or Timmy Jan and Asumum. Now, Okasa, because me assure says Obekasana warning Bema, near me Kosuno, Enchakrana, a bed brassy, Ama a Asumbie Kakra, Abba, a Omanga name. Okay, still if you have that's it. Only a 4 year man, on my paying my hammer, they say, young can. Ne ministers no crowd yan kan ho asem say okay why you be we no want settle 100 days ni we are then we come after him
Pago si achia o so achia o say na dey wo
pastor we aka try say we as no we as mani ndwa nanum osu betwa take it amame osu betwa take it now dem akọ catch no so mani me dwa nanum wa ha o and action
ya begin say sanama ya be dia mo that's what pake opening gas you are so good evening
Afia and me fufuro kra and then
but you who ya there
yes what do me say no me boduma
how you do okay so what do you do
we bomb 12
hours the internet into everywhere you go cast any possible you know
yeah this year me program can am fit be in your life into I just
life we create any do other the life or
yeah okay well the me can say me can be big to every fast Obuasi case
me ja make akra me no mo afo nti wase
bibi kakra voice in here
voice na we chire kakra nti no I don't know why and when you when you camera no
okay
see any say
yeah Obuasi case na make bibi kakra be afa say okay sin no esi no is so sad na the be mbusa mo say Ghana where are we going because I say omana koye oman bia yemfa mra nya dwuma obu onya dwuma che oman bibia nya dwuma so say obit turn radio station no inciting nkrofo say mo so na mo konkoji bibia obi atana asan ho kratai ye dia ma no say ade we dia ma ho kratai ni enti wo na say otumi yeso adwuma no obi so aka kire obi say wa wo ni ho kratai ni ho hwe no so ne ko asas te biano na koji de so koji free mu na yewodia in what sense in what sense what you say sebi peduasa asasi nyina oduma nko nyame no boye na so edru ba bi a onyame e ase nipa bi nsa so what you say inti sadina papa your friend Captain Smart or train radio show it is very very wrong. So can 10 years or so can 20 years ago, so can 3 years ago, a sheni patrim, so what you say. Into a sheni patrino, a beseni patrima to the time it will wrap up. Yeah, Olipanova taking action. You see, this is what we saw yesterday or 3 days ago. What you say. Nankasa been paid we are son. Who sorry now could be assassin, my boss assassin me, no ma who was now one kata, only up my a Jeffrey someone. One never finish alien. What you say? Sabi abrochire entisa. Abrochire maybe I am ra. So what you say? Be ya to cut out to be a mra ya san to no. So intermediate. In fact, omunhwe na omututu no maye. Abana wa ba no fa ne nansi from no to be ye. Say the baby who say emra wo Ghana, emra ye dmo Ghana. Where you wait dia ni dia. You have no right to go there. What you say? Who call ma upon the mrabedu who call bibi obeya or the body nyuma ho ban. She can use it. What you say? Into me a soldier for me no I don't blame them. What you have to because someone you didn't want I show Musa you canon. This is what you are doing for that living. You have to protect the property. You understand me? And you know, I don't blame them too much. But any question they say next time no, so big trouble no can be say koye because after all the end results no bad. It may not affect the person, but what occur will never affect you. Like woman yabu mutui, not affect you. It Ghana man about ye. Then someone can afford to work account if you are mobile too much. Especially social media by what you say. Say no be kind. Oh boy, journalism, me at times meeting on them. Now, or a journalist.
Open the journalist, you na camera na ayafo. Into I saw camera. Was a journalist.
Why should the government sit down and allow those things? Why should the government sit down and allow these things to go on? I didn't interfere. I start my team behind. No more sound, no more course. Obi only experience will be beam on on Tibia. No, so cameras in what can some basa.
A media commission for no more. You might shut down my about can be a best. Constitution my freedom of expression, Tino High. A media commission for and also a motia. No more just say the only to me monk Uncle Casa. The only how about your band opening. And now
I hope so with platform will create settings be my awareness. Now you from omunti esema nyasa sema tisa program awuye omunti nyasa sema no munya dia titi YouTube and go for inciting go for money and kwasi ade no so what you say be fraud the end results no will come against you.
It's true.
Govt smart as mo kika here unante dia to mutrim be film and omkwati now mo wu no then so because they were protecting whatever they asked to. They are to do that to protect the place. What I say? Into tries to invade a family told me security I know much about security. You get me? I've taken so many courses about security. What I say? Metia will be property in no office. What I say? This is Master Spencer officer. What I say? He protected this place. So if somebody comes out to try to invade the place, can't be able to say protect you in my company. We have to do it.
Yo. Open the other. I'm Ghana say, oh, say, the who can say, a binum education. You're so 240 and another man, by and then no 241 years to go, the honor, and you're 240, you might go near Giamo 24. You find a contract one kind. Yet your taxes no matter by what crack. In two to me, Cocancho 2 was a gold is gun over. Yeah, God is coming on. But to say the okay, baby, on him a Jumano, on Shire, and so no, I saw camera. No, dear attempt. What I say, and the media commission for so at more, I would demonize for more. No boy, I just give you a good evening. But I saw microphone, mammy.
5 minutes, you have to say.
But I don't matter quite no Bible.
Media. Master man, best make Obuasi in some ICC. Now, idea as a Ghana for any unit. Or Maho Bambono, young fan near group. Go yet, what my Ghana, West Africa, wa Nigeria, Bukola up went to Cotisha school actually for 200 and something. I had Obatino more Coabatinia. Yes, so ya for ya, Netma Creek from Maya baby Sabra Sani, my uncles. It's young to tune for money to kill from. And when the master for any Brian or Mokoye cool some baby Fisani Maui. Yes, a task as on their map as the mamma, because I said for why never what you want? Almost only 1 year giddy, almost a man more man or bomb. And Yenya would tell my own, and Yamabua said the number one more canon. Omokeka radio, so I am in your face. Nansemiti. Mia Missy Miana maker. Well, near Captain Smart, Casacheno. Near all yen yet. Cause you say, President Mama Bayer, no gracia now no be. Now with the radio so casse. Bokina Soja for no buy. Baku crowd grab my camp, bet Ghana Soja for 300. So, what can? Would you have both 30 minutes? Any penny, dear one. I told you for no my boy and who by ya basis I be look or use to West Wim on my any say. Womu ko Liberia ni ko kunto eko pattern to ko Ghana foko omba
Naga
list
mo kina soldiers mo kwado mu suro Ghana onye classmate kra ne Ghana for soldiers.
na se uko kika kan semwi na fe na nkra ne de soja fo en me pom na de fi nyina ne se enche bia na soja fo no ko fa de ba se soja fo ni timamufuo nyina ye nipa kro eti yetimi bie kwa ma nipa ko baras wo no mo no mo akire chom niema from then na Ghana fo de soja fo ne ni ba pom ko kan soja ka kura twam a etwam no driver kura kwa no opake usiro kura se soja fo kura ba na wo be fa o muntem soja ni wo bia nu ba wo muntem se wo mfa ho ba na ko ba se soja fo kura ye bibia na no enye we nku de na ano asi abatue mu na no ntem obi si soja ni kura to na boys krofo probi wo mo ye demonstration boys kwa soja fo na say na de na afa de adu wo mai enye kura because sa soja fo na police fo ankwa adwuma wandi Ghana bebo so my mama yenya adwene se esuro ni nyina sa ankrofo o munya Ghana o mbese no banyame ni ya bambofo ya ni cry ndi so omo no ba bebo ya ho bai na se yesu no mu edi asie sa anya na Obuasi de no mesra o mo Obuasi fo yeni asoja fo no echi o mu tirimo makum o mu nua de nchi Obuasi makum o mu nua ahyi no sa abre no ya mo mo kwa mo ma anya o ma ahyi bia eti omu timtime se Obuasi fo na ebi ye beko ha na edidi no me nua akope bibia di na wuwe o ma na so kope bibia ro ko wuja nkra na wan na behwe wo ntimi de mesre me nsa da me ye nua Obuasi fo wo munya abotere na enya abotere kwa so mampanyin betimi o maka na se ba bi na eso mde wo mu no modidi a ayemra no ma ye ho adwuma kama na se yenya bibi ni ye ko ne de ka de obe onya bibi ni a enkobi aso be ko bi store mu se me pese adi ntimi kwa akụfa ntimi na masam nse me se o mo ye ntutu asoja fo mo ye ntutu o mas no mo an ebo mo ba no nyame nshira so wa dwuma ya de wa utimi e man krofo tin ni masem ko so ye ne saa
that's over gido that's baby over gido
company no what you say yanim krono eti company no there was so many ways be we company nim ha nkofo we eje bido nyankopɔ sa mo ma komedi e be ma komade mo seji ma komedi e yesu be ma komade mo in so many ways so many ways betima ma komade agie ada oko import ni amani free a onfa me fa Obuasi ana wodi ni amani oko free a habo a onfa me fa Obuasi highway e too pa we can block agie within any second soja for na bo mo kubi still ye wo ho omo besa kubi still ye wo ye njai da unless ye nyadua
enti asem no say ya na kofa asem bebre ba ye o ene nkrofo akowui wo be kasa wo boso saa at the end of the day no na wawu na woko so what you say also or say even if dampare chi omokra they will be released enti wo fake na no kata dampare ko chi omokra be say you omo because omo say ya ban e na aba or say the nkrofo e kan no to no so the message a me kan amamo eno no Sani Larry the kina boss ni the Sani o Nima or say if you love your show that's signing Yakubu Charles say o join here from point to say hey a country called Ghana hey oh my baby emra nye djuma baako kra obia pese oye ne de se de ope yo me say na also say ka no it took otufo ne kopa chance na China for no kraba and can my we nkema na wa kwa attack soje ni o de have video we
and I'm move it down.
Inti me hani de me pese me yi ha no cry because we share pictures na free hospitals no cry o sembe because to the way ya bonko photo ni moja e pram I don't want to show it. It's a little offensive and gory, and that's the word, even gory, very gory. And yeah, and no, I mean, who many anom na Obuasi almost any just na me and the shime. You obi sad. We should never allow this to happen in Ghana. And ni say see that. Inti abushafo ye nyina fantu ye hofo. This one there, ye nyina ye Ghana for, but ye nyina nso ye journalist, ye nyina captain. Ye nyina ya can say enye, we will not continue to do that. There's no amount of defense and ebema we akoso. Inti mi amato mi niaba Sandra Esinam letter. Obi a oye senior journalist ano oye eduma TV3 ne letter. Ono atro akoma TV3 for say no. Eduma ne start ye no. Enye say any start ye no. In December say eduma ne ye ya. Mo say it's a call to action. Ye journalists wo nyina ye nyina ye guilty. Ye nyina ye guilty. National Media Commission we must all check ourselves. Eduma ne ye ne sa. Nipa na awu yo. Nipa wu. Ye ntumi nsan kofa ne manfree asamado. We must do better. It must never happen again. Say ya no asem ebeman kofo awu. Ya no asem ebeman kofo ko no. Eni say banisa. Nti wa ofre ye bia thank you so much. To send a message to her. Yakopon shiraw. Yakopon shiraw. Na mum Ghana for ne elevate ya adwene kakra wo ye misremeka o. Ye elevate ya adwene kakra. Ne de obetie nyina na ye nokre. Emfa wo say ye pia pokua na e kan na say Captain Smart. Verify. Ne no ne ye ko library o ansa ne yakokan. And then yeah, the Google no at least would you Google verify it? Is this true? And no yes, I would objective blogger be a cabiano afa. The objective journalist be a cabiano afa. And then you need microphone him near trained journalist you. Be bring it trained. Until Miss Ram yatia sema ye musansa. Na Bible cracker say, Sabi or Pasiana tia sema o musemu ansana wajedi. Bible ne kan yo. Until yes, we must be careful. Yes, I wouldn't have a couple who no any panel catcher or not. When Kofoya we the start say and crash captain then out here say no. Uko ukwasamado or not. So my shame not here. Oh, yenya but sremaye. Bibi e babuoku. Oh, ye program will be to Obagan Ebekum. Me feel bed ube there do. So yes, someone mama respecting each other's opinion. Everybody has a right to opinionate, but you never right to your back and there any no crania there's a case COP you in your bema Captain Smart court. Me many captain I mother to what people say, oh generally you might training pan any fine eduma. You multimedia almost every quarter you training. You kwani workers kwani ebofu. That's why me dey training pan you fine eduma. Oh nansa money dey nti na yesi echiche edin o. Ye nyina ye fantu ye hofo. So nti yesre yesi konsuo na bo ehina baby ehina bi wo won mani si ekobo. This is a national disaster for a class to kill a yashishe bass. I mean, it shouldn't happen. Observe for mamina mu nyina mase say na mo join e o jasu dwumede Yera ko Johansson DOP adibedi akoni DJ Obla komo no mo join e na edi show no mind Yera Musa Superior to me join na network net ko e ti ye behwe say Wednesday ye betumi asan reconnect bi ye na mu nyina mase ye mamomo say na motimi etie na maboa madwumede na abaso still ye nyina nim say the president in charge of Ghana my Excellency President John Dramani Mahama still ono anete Ghana o man na konya kese so enti no ye da mu nyina mase good night.